Hearing Su Jie's words, the cultivators present were all excited. After the spiritual energy recovery, they tirelessly engaged in archaeological research on various cultivation affairs from mythical legends. Whether it's Eastern cultivation culture, Western wizards, or Onmyoji, werewolves, vampires, fierce ghosts, demons, etc., they have pored over books repeatedly for study. Not only do they study by themselves, but their organizations and countries behind the scenes also send think tanks, letting numerous historical experts and ancient culture masters help enrich their knowledge and develop their capabilities. Among these, Eastern cultivation, immortality, sword immortals, artifact refining, alchemy, array formation, and talisman painting naturally became targets of their research. Moreover, with examples like Penglai Fairy Island and Shin Xueqing, Eastern ancient culture holds the top research tier in the cultivation circle. Therefore, even foreign cultivators present could understand the meaning in Su Jie's words, immediately thinking of concepts like dragon and tiger golden pill, immortal slaying sword formation, immortal artifacts with no cognitive gaps. Hehe, I, old Xiong, want to refine a furnace of golden cores, and when the time comes, swallowing a golden core, my fate will be in my own hands, not in heaven's. Xiong Yenyu's eyes sparkled, and drool almost dripped out. Being a king among exotic beasts, returning to deep forests is like returning home for him. Many treasure medicines born due to the spiritual energy recovery in the deep mountains were previously just gulped down, with most of their medicinal power wasted. If he could learn the alchemy path, he could refine treasure pills, furthering his cultivation. Array formation path. Lachika murmured, deeply interested in the array formation path. If he could learn attack formations, even a simple enchantment array, it would definitely be effective against the beautiful country's modern army. Path of artifact refining. I wonder if I can forge a life-bound flying sword. Shin Xueqing's heart raced. As a sword immortal, creating a life-bound flying sword from scratch, refining it to command as if an extension of her own arm, and taking distant heads with it was a highly tempting endeavor for her. The cultivators at the scene were breathing heavily, all predicting that this time of hearing the teachings was not in vain and feeling fortunate to have landed on the moon, gaining the enormous opportunity to hear a god's teachings. The human body as a treasure tripod, that is both body and mind. The body is the furnace tripod, the mind is the divine chamber, essence is the flowering pond. Among the 5 metals, only heavenly lead is used, containing yang within yin, which is the baby, the hollow in the body, and among the 8 minerals, only cinnabar is used, containing yin within yang. True earth is the master of the medicine. The dipper handle is the pivot of timing. The white tiger is the essence of lead. The azure dragon is the primordial energy of sand. The magpie bridge and river chariot span the 100 divisions. The divine waters of the flowering pond flow against the seasons. When there is substance, formlessness is fundamental. From the God within form, entering the nature within God, this is called returning to the root and restoring life, like gold returning to its original nature. Proclaiming the path of treasure pill, surpassing Lingji fairy grassfu, Su Jie slowly began to speak, with the Tao heavenly sound echoing in the hall. For these auxiliary paths of cultivation like alchemy, talisman painting, and array formation, Su Jie was not an expert, but as the saying goes, understanding one path leads to mastery of many skills. Being constantly exposed, Su Jie also had knowledge of these auxiliary paths. Moreover, for Blue Star, where the knowledge of cultivation is a blank slate, Su Jie didn't need to speak too profoundly. Even if Su Jie could talk in depth, they wouldn't be able to learn it. It's like giving college textbooks to elementary school students. Without the basics, they can only stare blankly. To handle them, only the most basic and simple knowledge was needed. Hence, the cultivators present listened with rapt attention, falling into a state of enlightenment under the enlightenment aura of the 9-grade sacred lotus. As Su Jie formally began his teachings, heaven and earth resonated. Golden lotuses blossomed in the void, dragons and phoenixes cried in harmony. Purple aura rose from the east, and Ganlu descended from the heavens. An Emperor Dongshu giving teachings is an opportunity countless cultivators dream of even in Tianyuan world, let alone in the cultivation-deserted Blue Star. One auspicious and mystical phenomenon after another occurred, leading Su Jie to sigh deeply. Truly, Blue Star indulges its own, enhancing my prestige greatly. If this were the Tianyuan world, given the whims of the heavenly Tao there, not having auspicious phenomena and avoiding heaven's tribulation would be a face given by the heavenly Tao. As the global broadcast continued, Su Jie's teachings reached tens of billions of people worldwide. Although they couldn't fully understand the knowledge Su Jie imparted, the Tao heavenly sound penetrating during the Emperor Dongshu's teachings made them feel clear-headed, as if a great burden was lifted from their bodies, and, as this news spread, it quickly became known by humanity worldwide, with more people from Blue Star pausing all their tasks to listen to a God's teachings. With these tens of billions of viewers listening to Su Jie's teachings, and Su Jie disseminating various auxiliary cultivation knowledge to Blue Star's cultivation desert, a massive flow of heavenly Tao fortune converged towards Su Jie from all directions. Besides the heavenly Tao fortune, because these people listened to the teachings, a significant portion of them also directed their faith towards Su Jie. Nearly 10 billion people, even if not everyone is a devout believer, the faith power provided is still a frightening amount. This was precisely the reason Su Jie started the broadcast. However, this time, Su Jie did not absorb this portion of heavenly Tao fortune and faith power. The path of artifact refining is vast and profound. Apart from using the 100 refining techniques, one can also use heaven and earth as a furnace to forge heaven and earth divine weapons. Su Jie, discussing the path of artifact refining, waved his hand. Boom! With a loud rumble, and under countless astonished gazes, the holy Bodhi tree grew behind Su Jie. The 9-grade sacred lotus blossomed between the branches and leaves of the holy Bodhi tree, while the mixed element divine sky bamboo transformed into lightning roots tightly entwined. Thus, a divine tree grafted from 3 mature innate spiritual objects appeared before everyone's eyes. Plants inherently possess grafting abilities, but innate spiritual objects are unique treasures of heaven and earth. A single mature innate spiritual object is already rare, and gathering 3 mature ones and grafting them together is an incredible challenge. Even Emperor Dongshu might call Su Jie a madman upon witnessing this operation. Su Jie's eyes shone with determination. He knew the difficulty of grafting 3 innate spiritual objects to refine his unique Tao treasure. However, the vast heavenly Tao fortune and faith power of Blue Star perfectly meet the conditions for creating a heavenly fortune treasure. Su Jie aimed to complete this audacious task with the collective faith of billions on Blue Star and the indulgence of Blue Star herself. As Su Jie began refining the Tao treasure, wisps of purple heavenly Tao fortune merged into the holy Bodhi tree, causing the previously forcefully combined 3 innate spiritual objects to begin densely fusing together, intertwining their roots and veins. The faith power transformed into a source of life energy, supplying the fusion of the holy Bodhi tree. If Emperor Dongshu from Tianyuan world witnessed such a level of fortune supply, he would surely rebuke it as wasteful. Their heavenly Tao fortune is barely sufficient for refining grotto heavens, let alone such extravagant use for refining a heavenly fortune treasure with such overwhelming consumption. Heavenly Tao is within me. Destiny Tao treasure. Su Jie clasped his hands together as the holy Bodhi tree behind him quaked violently, deeply rooting itself into the moon, growing at a terrifying pace. In the blink of an eye, the tree reached a height of 10,000 zhang, its branches and leaves resembling roaring giant dragons. The broad, hard leaves akin to dragon scales shook mountains and rivers, its verdant crown like a canopy covering vast mountains on the moon. From afar, it seemed like a divine would burst from the moon, with roots penetrating tens of kilometers deep into the moon shell, further embedding thousands of kilometers into the moon mantle layer, seeking to root in the semi-molten moon core. Onlookers were stupefied, witnessing the ever-growing holy Bodhi tree that seemed to shade the entire moon. They felt as if witnessing creation by a deity, its transformative power achievable only by true divinity. On Blue Star, watching the broadcast, humanity was equally slack-jawed, with many rushing outside. Without looking up, they could see the verdant dome of the holy Bodhi tree's crown, expanding ceaselessly, plunging kilometers of blue stars land into night-like darkness. But soon, the darkness dissipated, as the holy Bodhi tree's 9-colored treasure light shone brightly, replacing the sun's role like the world tree. O Divine One, Almighty God, your devout followers offer you their utmost loyalty. He is a deity born from the sun and moon, wielding supreme authority, with the moon as his chariot and the sun his deity bow. He is the god of wisdom and strength, the god of guardianship and war, the sun and moon god, the supreme god above all gods. In the presence of such miracles, countless blue star humans kneeled fervently, observing the azure divine tree encompassing the sky, witnessing the divine creation. In Blue Star, those educated in scientific views found their persistence challenged repeatedly. Under divine miracles, many found a beacon of faith, venerating Sujie as a heavenly deity. At this moment, faith power surged like a tsunami, pouring into the holy Bodhi tree, becoming nourishment for its growth, which further accelerated, making it more grand and magnificent, covering more blue star land, inciting more fervent offerings of faith power. The abundant fortune and faith gathered on the holy Bodhi tree even bore golden red fruits, representing the heavenly fortune treasure Sujie was refining, advancing towards success. Subsequently, Sujie continued his sermon, teaching various auxiliary cultivation methods to all cultivators in the 33-layered heavenly palace. Many cultivators scratched their heads in confusion, while others found enlightenment and grinned joyfully. During this process, the gathered heavenly Tao fortune and faith power were all invested into the holy Bodhi tree by Sujie, enhancing its grandeur. 3 days passed swiftly, and Sujie's sermon soon reached its conclusion. This concludes the lecture. Everyone may return on their own. Sujie stood up, and all cultivators felt a sense of loss and reluctance as they rose. Master worked hard. Little Xiong learned the alchemy path. I will refine the best treasure pill to present Master as a taste. Xiong Yan Yu mimicked humans in performing a bow, the gesture appearing somewhat amusing, evidently mastering humans' essence in flattery. These are some auxiliary cultivation texts. Take the opportunity yourself. Sujie glanced at Xiong Yanyu, waved his hand, and streams of light flashed, descending rapidly to the ground. Those beams of light were texts recording various skills such as alchemy, artifact refining, array formation, and talisman painting. Everyone's eyes suddenly brightened, and after bidding Sujie farewell, they swiftly returned to the surface along the branches of the holy Bodhi tree, rushing towards those streams of light. After all the cultivators had left, the moon also followed Sujie's control, distancing itself from Blue Star and flying back to its original position, continuing to accompany Blue Star. Achieving the Tao in 3 days, refining the great Emperor divine weapon. It's something others wouldn't believe. Above the moon, Sujie walked out of the 33-layered heavenly palace, gazing at the distant holy Bodhi tree, which was hundreds of thousands of meters high. Its trunk resembled towering mountain ridges. Its canopy shaded the sky and the sun, with millions of golden lotuses glittering brilliantly, like lamps hanging high. Amidst the branches, billions of lightning bolts moved, shaking the heavens. A vast, immortal, boundless divine power aura swept over, with 9-colored treasure light reaching the sky, engulfing the entire moon, sacred and majestic, like a heaven-reaching divine wood. Its crown surpassed the 9 heavens. Its roots plunged into the moon core, almost covering half of the moon. This was a Destiny Tao treasure crafted to match Sujie's own Tao, using 3 matured innate spiritual objects, vast fortune and faith. Upon its creation, it belonged to the ranks of top-level Tao treasures. As Sujie's thoughts moved, the holy Bodhi tree rose from the ground, revealing the power of a top-level Tao treasure. Boom! 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 The moon seemed to be torn apart by the holy Bodhi tree, with countless earth dragons beneath the surface turning over. Massive tree roots emerged from the moon shell, and amidst green jade-like leaves, golden lotuses blossomed with 9-colored treasure light, illuminating the heavens and causing the void to crack, opening the Tao River. The next moment, Sujie's eyes flashed with excitement as he operated the Sun Fusion Divine Scripture, terrifying spiritual power urging forward. with Su Jie alone controlling the holy Bodhi tree to enter the Tao River. The words Tao treasure refer to such divine weapons that can unleash their full power in the Tao River. The combination of exclusive Tao treasure and Emperor Dongshu truly showcases the divine might of a great emperor. Just as the holy Bodhi tree entered the Tao River, borrowing the chaotic aura of the Tao, billions of world-ending thunders converged around it. The immortal aura permeated the four corners of the world, causing the chaotic chi flow in the Tao River to violently shake, with boundless thunder piercing through. Over 1 billion kilometers away from Blue Star, Venus, the closest planet to Blue Star, witnessed bolts of world-ending thunder tearing through the Tao River. Utilizing the Tao River's chaotic spacetime traits, they descended directly here. Rumble. It was as if a god controlling thunder was enacting world destruction. Billions of thunders covered Venus over thousands of kilometers. Under the relentless bombardment of innate Tao thunder, Venus' sturdy crust was pierced through, steep mountains leveled, and the iron-nickel core in the center of the Earth erupted from the cracked surface. The scorching molten iron-nickel flowed like a human's major artery being ruptured, spraying and scattering, shooting into the depths of space, forming an iron band encircling Venus under the influence of gravity. Meanwhile, Su Jie stood in the Tao River, the moon shadow beside him gliding in flight. The holy Bodhi tree in his hand shone with treasure light, like a supreme emperor wielding control over the universe. Ha! This is the true Tao treasure of this emperor, alone to sweep across the 3,000 realms. Thunder fittingly ends all creation. From now on, you shall be called the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree. Su Jie laughed heartily, filled with heroic ambition. This return to Blue Star marked his ascension to Hollow, refining the pocket moon, cultivating the neutron combat body, sun fusion divine scripture, black hole all things technique, and creating his exclusive top-level Tao treasure, the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree. At this moment, Su Jie couldn't even imagine how terrifying his combat power would be. What once seemed unattainable, like the title of the first great emperor of 1,000,000 years held by Emperor Tianwu, Su Jie felt he could challenge now. However, Su Jie was aware that in the past, on the battlefield of Dragon Sleep Mountain, relying on just a clone, he was already cautious of Emperor Donghuang. If Emperor Donghuang were to appear before him again, Su Jie had 90% confidence to suppress him single-handedly. The remaining 10% isn't about possibly losing, but the chance that the opponent might use secret techniques to escape. However, Su Jie wouldn't let that happen if Emperor Donghuang dared to stand before him. This is the confidence of Su Jie as a top-level great emperor. Tianyuan World, 33 Heavens. After returning from Blue Star, Su Jie came directly to this place with the 1,000-hand centipede and the annual ringworm. Ordinary Purple Mansion cultivators cannot reach this place, but Su Jie is not included in this category. He could traverse this place even when he was in the late stage of the Purple Mansion, and now that he's advanced to the Cave Void Realm, it's even less of an issue. The fierce strong wind, scorching heavenly fire, and heavenly thunder of the 33 heavens will be wiped out by the strong gravity before they even get close to Su Jie. To other cultivators, the 33 heavens is fraught with danger and akin to a narrow escape, but to Su Jie, it is no different from a leisurely stroll. I hope everything goes smoothly, and the target can be successfully hunted. Su Jie murmurs to himself, his eyes as bright as torches, staring at the top of the sky curtain of the 33 heavens. Here in the 33 heavens, it is the boundary between reality and the Tao River, separated by only a thin membrane. In Su Jie's sight, further up from the 33 heavens, it is shrouded in a black light curtain. The aura of the Tao River becomes incredibly clear in the 33 heavens, so clear that one can even see with the naked eye the chaotic currents in the Tao River, like tides, constantly impacting the sky curtain of the 33 heavens. At this moment, Su Jie's perception increasingly feels the importance of the 33 heavens to the Tianyuan world. It's like the atmosphere of Blue Star, protecting the Tianyuan world from the invasion of dangerous creatures from the Tao River. For instance, those dangerous chaotic creatures living in the Tao River are like carnivorous animals hunting in the ocean, whereas worlds like the Tianyuan world, with a large number of intelligent life forms, are undoubtedly akin to herbivorous animals in nature, belonging to the hunted category. But this is not absolute. Su Jie intends to test the weight of these chaotic creatures. The thousand-hand centipede calls out twice, somewhat nervous yet somewhat expectant. The annual ringworm also climbs onto Su Jie's head, calling out, "Yeah, yeah," nervously holding onto Su Jie's long hair, because they both know the purpose of Su Jie's trip is to hunt chaotic creatures, and mature chaotic creatures at that. A mature chaotic creature is the direction for the evolution of both the thousand-hand centipede and the annual ringworm. Currently, both worms are top grade 9 refinement, and if they advance further, they will become 10-turn golden goo, equivalent to mature Tao chaotic creatures. Don't worry, leave it to me. Su Jie pats the thousand-hand centipede's head and also strokes the short, plump, and cute little body of the annual ringworm. His gaze toward the sky curtain isolating the Tao River becoming incomparably sharp. Su Jie now upgraded to the cave void realm. He thinks not only for himself, Han Ruyan has now found the path to advance the Yin Ruins Ghost King, but the thousand-hand centipede and annual ringworm have yet to find theirs. Su Jie thinks that if he can cultivate the thousand-hand centipede and annual ringworm into 10-turn golden goo, then it would be equivalent to the Great Xia dynasty owning 4 cave void realms. In the Tianyuan world, other exotic continents have only 1 cave void great emperor, but if Su Jie can make the ancient continent have 4 cave voids, then it wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that the eternally stable pattern of the Tianyuan world will be broken. The 5 great holy lands will become 6, and Su Jie's power will directly rival the Holy Land. However, wanting to cultivate the top grade 9 refinement goo insect into 10-turn golden goo, despite the small gap, is more challenging than Purple Mansion cultivators advancing to Cave Void Great Emperor. At least Cave Void Great Emperors can use the Heavenly Tao Fortune to advance, but entities like fierce ghosts, goo insects, and demon beasts are rejected by the Heavenly Tao, unable to take the path of Heavenly Tao Fortune, making advancement significantly more difficult. Su Jie's idea at this moment is particularly simple, to utilize the characteristic of goo insects. The characteristic of goo insects is devouring. The word goo refers to placing several venomous poisonous insects in a sealed container to fight each other, eventually devouring the others and leaving behind one surviving individual. Under Su Jie's cultivation, the thousand-hand centipede has devoured countless goo insects, especially the supply of poisonous insects from Blue Star, calculated in tons, to grow to its current stature. Devouring is the biggest characteristic of goo insects, and Su Jie is aiming towards this point. As long as he can hunt a truly mature Tao chaotic creature in the Tao River and have the 2 goo insects devour it, there might be a chance to see the path for both goo insects to evolve into the 10-turn golden goo. Even if not, it will certainly benefit the goo insects greatly. This is also the reason Su Jie came to the 33 heavens. Well then, let's set off. Su Jie takes a deep breath, and at the next moment, Su Jie directly tears the sky curtain above and enters the dark Tao River. After Su Jie departs, the torn sky curtain heals rapidly. This 33-fold sky curtain protects the Tianyuan world. Cultivators can easily tear through it to go outside, but it is 10 times or 100 times more difficult for the Tao River to enter. Inside the Tao River, a pitch-black, colorless space unfolds before Su Jie, resembling the silent, dark cosmic deep space, without any light sources. When Su Jie looks back, he sees the location of Tianyuan world as a colorful, bubble-shaped form, with the bubble membrane being the 33 heavens. In Su Jie's observation, Su Jie cannot yet see the full view of Tianyuan world, but his divine sense indicates that the area of Tianyuan world is dozens of times larger than Blue Star. This world is not a planet but round heavens and square land, with the ocean area accounting for at least 85%, and the remainder consisting of 7 continents and islands. Su Jie even sees the source of spiritual energy in Tianyuan world, where the chaotic currents in the Tao River flush and are filtered and transformed by the colorful bubble, eventually sedimenting in the earth veins and 33 heavens of Tianyuan world, and after the lapse of time, transforming into the spiritual energy that Su Jie is familiar with. This is also why the spiritual energy concentration of the 33 heavens in Tianyuan world is the highest, and why spiritual veins can be condensed underground. It's because these 2 areas are the most fundamental places for spiritual energy transformation. Yeah. The small body of the annual ringworm curled into a ball, and the thousand-handed centipede also wrapped itself around Su Jie's arm, showing some unease. This place, the pressure is indeed different. Su Jie felt it for a moment. The Tao River's oppression on life here is far higher than any Tao River Su Jie has entered before. If the Tao River is compared to an ocean, Tianyuan world is like an empty shell, then the Tao River Su Jie opened into the void in the past was at most the sea inside that shell. Now, Su Jie has entered the ocean outside the shell through the 33 heavens, where the water pressure and complex environment far surpass the Tao River opened in Tianyuan world. A dark vortex tide here can annihilate the primordial spirits of countless cultivators. And this is truly a deep water area, the dense activity zone of mature Tao chaos creatures. At this moment, Su Jie can feel the power of the Kunlun realm even more profoundly. With his current cultivation in the Cave Void realm, he cannot remotely complete the teleportation gate between Tianyuan world and Blue Star, lacking even a clue for coordinates. Yet the Kunlun realm can achieve it. It's truly an immortal treasure left by an immortal, extremely valuable. Then Su Jie took the thousand-handed centipede and the annual ringworm and began moving through the Tao River. Time and space were chaotic in the Tao River. It might just take one step into a temporal vortex to appear millions of kilometers away. It's because Su Jie is in the Cave Void realm, able to resist this chaotic time-space trait, or he wouldn't dare wander around here. However, Su Jie didn't anticipate that searching for mature chaos creatures would not be an easy task. Su Jie walked in the Tao River for several days, without even a shadow of chaos creatures. On the contrary, he encountered countless natural disasters in the Tao River, some of which forced Su Jie to be highly vigilant. Like when passing through a flowing light space, Su Jie's body showed a trend towards two-dimensionalization, forcibly diminishing its dimensionality by the space. If Su Jie had not been alert and fled in time, he couldn't imagine what unpredictable consequences there might have been. Since I can't find chaos creatures, then let them come to find me. After several fruitless days, Su Jie finally lost patience and chose another method. Su Jie retrieved the Kunlun mirror from his sea of consciousness and activated it to shine brightly. Long ago, when Su Jie began condensing his primordial spirit Dharma form, it was the help of the Kunlun mirror that guided him to choose the Chaos Dharma form among the vast number of chaos creatures. Su Jie thought maybe the Kunlun mirror, capable of spanning the Tao River and connecting to other worlds, had a deadly attraction for chaos creatures. Like fishing, the Kunlun mirror was the bait Su Jie put out. Looking at the Kunlun mirror before him, its surface still with many cracks, but after advancing to the Cave Void realm, Su Jie was able to use it simply. As time ticked away, hours passed in the blink of an eye. Su Jie was wondering if his guess might be wrong, that the Kunlun mirror might not have strong attraction, when the two antennae of the thousand-handed centipede in his arms suddenly started oscillating intensely. The thousand-handed centipede emitted an urgent sound, twisting about fiercely in Su Jie's arms, reminding him, "Ya! Ya!" Frightened, the annual ringworm unsteadily rolled off Su Jie's head, fell halfway, and upon reacting, desperately burrowed into Su Jie's collar, frightened so much that it curled into a ball. Seeing the reaction of the two poisonous insects, Su Jie realized his target had bitten. Hoang! Far off, tens of thousands of kilometers away, Su Jie heard a heart-stirring roar. In the pitch-black silent Tao River, an incredibly hideous, strange, terrifying entity revealed itself. Its whole body resembles a conglomerate of spiral-stacked eyeballs, and each eye is a vertical pupil, akin to a demon's evil eye, exuding a crimson bloodthirsty aura. Overall, billions of crimson eyeballs transformed into 6 sky-supporting hooves, an enormous snake-like head, 8 arms, towering tens of thousands of meters, surpassing human understanding of any mountain. Upon appearance, a terrifying aura spread, causing one's soul to tremble. It's it. Su Jie recognized this chaos creature. When the 33 Heaven spectacle was built, Su Jie first came there and once glimpsed from afar its massive silhouette. Su Jie speculated that mature chaos creatures probably have territorial awareness, and Tianyuan world might be the territory of this evil eye chaos creature, being the first to be attracted. It's a good material, Su Jie finally understood why mature chaos creatures are able to create Dao treasures. Just its tens of thousands of meter size alone could yield weapons to smash people unopposed. The evil eye chaos creature's billions of eyeballs were rotating, staring at the Kunlun mirror in Su Jie's hand. In the next moment, a sky-supporting hoof reached towards Su Jie, trying to take the Kunlun mirror. Am I being ignored? Su Jie directly put away the Kunlun mirror back into his sea of consciousness, then operated the neutron combat body, revealing the domineering aura of an Emperor Dongshu unreservedly. Crackling. When nearing Su Jie, the hoof thicker than the Himalayas, composed of countless monocular vertical pupils, shuddered violently under the terrifying gravity field of the neutron combat body, each eyeball bursting open, exploding in a mist of blood in the void. Roar! The evil eye chaos creature roared, seeming to find Su Jie somewhat difficult to provoke, yet greedily eyeing the Kunlun mirror in Su Jie's hand. After hesitating for several seconds, it pressed closer to Su Jie. Good. I have yet to kill a mature chaos creature, you're the first. Battle intent flared in Su Jie's eyes. He unhesitatingly moved forward. In the next moment, the evil eye chaos Dharma roared wildly. Uncountable evil eyes fixed on Su Jie, each reflecting his figure, transforming into warped evil power. Su Jie's flesh, bones, and organs felt as if countless heavy hammers were pounding them. Bones showing cracks, organs spurting blood, flesh rotting. But that's all. Another Emperor Dongshu might be severely injured, yet Su Jie's neutron star battle body, though not fully achieved, was superior to typical Emperor Dongshu. His injuries healed in an instant. Su Jie advanced straight on, attacking the evil eye creature frontally, opting not to use the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, wanting to see his cultivation results first. In the next moment, the projection of the moon appeared behind Su Jie, the gray-white moon like a giant star falling from the high heavens, smashing onto the evil eye chaos Dharma's back amidst its anguished screams. Its massive body torn apart, black-red blood rained down, an amount enough to fill Lake Beluga, with its internal supporting bone-like framework and organ tissues collapsing and shattering, uncountable eyeballs bursting into gleaming blood slurry. Furthermore, Su Jie himself charged forward, fiercely beating the drowning dog, building strength with his right hand. Within him, the Sun Fusion Divine Scripture operating, spiritual power madly expanding and splitting, finally combining with Su Jie's meridians, unified with Su Jie's neutron combat body, was unleashed with full force. Boom! The evil eye chaos Dharma's chest first caved in, then cracked, finally with blood splattering. A massive cavity hundreds of kilometers wide formed in the chest of the evil eye chaos creature. Blood flowed from the wound like a waterfall, shocking to see. The neutron combat body compressed to maximum density, coupled with the energy bursting of the Sun Fusion Divine Scripture. Its sheer attack power made even chaos creatures known for body strength unable to withstand, striking it gravely. The evil eye chaos creature let out a sky-shaking wail, countless evil eyes filled with fear, finally realizing it had kicked a steel plate, writhing backwards, trying to distance itself from Su Jie. Su Jie naturally wouldn't let the duck that reached his mouth escape. He chased forward without saying a word. Bang! 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 At this moment, Su Jie seemed to turn into a humanoid chaotic creature, his fists and feet invoking gravitational collapse in the void, despite his seemingly tiny stature compared to the evil eye chaos creature, under the blessing of the neutron combat body. Su Jie's mass was not much inferior to the evil eye chaos creature. Every time his fist struck, the gravitational collapse brought by the powerful mass crushed the mountain-like, continuous flesh and blood body of the evil eye chaos creature, sending blood and minced flesh flying everywhere. The Sun Fusion Divine Scripture caused each of Su Jie's attacks to multiply in explosion form, infusing into the evil eye chaos creature's body, making its island-like form continuously twist and explode, as if nuclear bombs were going off inside its body, blasting out bottomless blood holes. Simply calculating the power of punch alone, not even the most powerful nuclear weapon in Blue Star's history, a 50-megaton nuclear weapon, could compare to the force of Su Jie's punches. In front of Su Jie, the seemingly powerful evil eye chaos creature could only endure the beating, relying on its massive body and tenacious life force, barely escaping despite its severely injured and scarred body. Sizzle. Ah! Ah! At this moment, thousand-handed centipede and annual ringworm poked their little heads out from Su Jie's collar, their eyes gleaming, watching Su Jie display divine power, immediately becoming excited. After beating the evil eye chaos creature for several minutes, its body was mostly shattered by Su Jie, yet it still hadn't succumbed, proving its extraordinary tenacity. Seeing this, Su Jie did not use fists and feet further. The previous exchange already made him understand the strength of his own power, and now he needed to resolve this chaos creature as quickly as possible to avoid unforeseen complications. Mixed Element Holy Thunder Tree. The next second, Su Jie extracted his exclusive Dao treasure from the Sea of Consciousness. The Mixed Element Holy Thunder Tree, shining with 9-colored treasure light, rapidly expanded upon appearing, transforming into a sky-reaching divine with tens of thousands of meters tall. Rumble. The Mixed Element Holy Thunder Tree flew directly to the evil eye chaos creature. 9-colored treasure light like 9 heavenly immortal swords, severing its thick limbs. Then countless dragon-like ferocious leaves spread, entangling the evil eye chaos creature, followed by billions of destructive divine thunder stirring up, covering the evil eye chaos creature. Filled with the power of destruction, the destructive divine thunder was astonishingly powerful. Even the chaotic creature couldn't withstand it. Its body electrocuted both tenderly inside and charred outside. Countless eyeballs burst open, vast swaths of physical tissues turned to charcoal, life force visibly weakening. In Su Jie's hands, the Mixed Element Holy Thunder Tree, a top-level Dao treasure, wielded peerless power, easily suppressing the evil eye chaos creature. "It's over," Su Jie lightly said, grabbing with his left hand. The immeasurable 9-colored treasure light of the Mixed Element Holy Thunder Tree swiftly concentrated into Su Jie's palm, transforming into a heavenly creation giant axe of several hundred kilometers in size. Chop! Gazing sharply, Su Jie pressed down his arm. The heaven-opening divine axe brought unparalleled destructive power, directly splitting the evil eye chaos creature in two, cleaving it from head to tail, thoroughly extinguishing its life. With the death of this evil eye chaos creature, its soul instantly dissipated. But before Su Jie utilized the 10 million soul banner obtained from Han Ruyan to capture the soul, the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror initially placed in Su Jie's Sea of Consciousness automatically flew out, a vortex appearing on the mirror surface, swallowing the soul of the evil eye chaos creature into the mirror. Su Jie was taken aback. Since when did the Kunlun Mirror start moonlighting as a soul banner? But Su Jie soon realized something wasn't right, because it was visible to the naked eye, on the mirror surface of the Kunlun Mirror, as the soul of this evil eye chaos creature was swallowed. One crack began to slowly heal with extreme slowness. The soul of chaotic creatures can repair the cracks on the Kunlun Mirror. Seeing this scene, Su Jie couldn't help but be shocked. Thinking of the chaotic creature's hunger and greed towards the Kunlun Mirror, wishing to swallow it whole, conversely, the Kunlun Mirror consuming the souls of chaotic creatures wasn't overly surprising. This is what immortal treasures are like. Even the repairing is unique, using the souls of chaotic creatures as the repair solution. Su Jie exclaimed, but this was not a bad thing for him. Restoring the Kunlun Mirror as soon as possible would allow Su Jie to fully control this immortal treasure, unleashing its immortal treasure power. However, looking at the numerous cracks on the mirror surface of the Kunlun Mirror, just one soul of a chaotic creature was still far from enough to completely repair it. Although the soul of the chaotic creature was gone, fortunately, the corpse of the evil eye chaos creature remained, which was also Su Jie's true goal of entering the Tao River for hunting. Shao Qian Annual Ringworm. Su Jie called out the 1,000-handed centipede and annual ringworm from his bosom, the two poisonous insects displaying immense excitement, looking ahead at the corpse of the evil eye chaos creature, even post-mortem, massive as a large island, eagerly approaching. The 1,000-handed centipede restored to a length of several thousand meters, fiercely bit onto the corpse of the evil eye chaos creature, swallowing in large gulps. The annual ringworm wasn't to be outdone. Although small, only the size of a baby's fist. Its eating style was unique. The way the annual ringworm devours is by covering with a special power of time. Wherever it crawled, the corpse of the evil Chaos creature began to age and decay on a large scale, as if time had accelerated on it, emitting a rancid odor, as if the nutritional substances had been extracted by the power of time. And with the feeding, the life aura which had long stagnated on the thousand-handed centipede and the annual ringworm began to slowly grow. Obviously, just as Su Jie had guessed, the corpse of the evil Chaos creature was very beneficial to the devouring of poisonous insects. However, although the thousand-handed centipede and the annual ringworm were eating very vigorously, compared to the huge corpse of the evil Chaos creature, it was still too slow. Just as they were feeding, Su Jie suddenly frowned. The annual ringworm and the thousand-handed centipede, who were eating, also stopped their work simultaneously, emitting anxious and restless cries. In the distant void, there were faint roars, and several dangerous auras were approaching here. Again with the chaos creatures, and several at that. Su Jie looked at the Kunlun mirror, possibly new predators attracted by the fall of this evil chaos creature, more likely drawn by the allure of the Kunlun mirror to the chaos creatures, attracting these dangerous hunters wandering in the Tao River. After considering it, Su Jie ultimately chose not to stay and clash head-on with a few chaos creatures. His main objective for entering the Tao River had already been achieved. There was no need to fight to the death with several unknown chaos creatures. Although Su Jie was not afraid, the risk was still there if he happened to encounter a Dominator-level chaos creature. Thus, Su Jie called the thousand-handed centipede and the annual ringworm to return to his side. Then Su Jie unfolded the Kunlun mirror, opened a portal to Blue Star, set its location on the moon, and then, after disassembling the evil Chaos creature's corpse, temporarily stored it inside the moon using his control over it. Anyway, this thing wasn't afraid of being spoiled by storage. After completing all this, Su Jie took the thousand-handed centipede and the annual ringworm and escaped, leaving an empty battlefield. By the time several chaos creatures arrived, Su Jie's figure was long gone, leaving them to impotently rage and roar repeatedly. Tianyuan World, Jade Sea. Among a sea area, where islands were scattered like stars across the sky, with immortal mountains and forested shores, palaces and towers spread across the fairyland-like treasure land were almost thick enough to fog up. It was the dream cultivation treasure land for all cultivators. Here lies one of the Tianyuan World's 5 great holy lands, the location of the 9 heavens holy land. At this moment, on a floating divine mountain hundreds of meters above the sea, within a deep, dark cave mansion, there was a humanoid stone statue sitting here. Suddenly, cracks appeared on the surface of the stone statue, and through the cracks, human skin could vaguely be seen inside. This was no stone statue. Clearly, it was a human who had sat cross-legged for thousands of years, maintaining a position without moving, accumulating dust over the years, causing it to resemble a stone statue. The aura of the Kunlun mirror. The figure looked up at the invisible sky dome, pinching his fingers to perform a deduction, with billions of divine lights flowing in his eyes, dazzling. At the same time, an aura descended like an immortal god gracing the dust, sweeping across the 4 directions. Countless lives throughout the Jade Sea felt their souls tremble. A sea fish sank to the seabed, and birds lost the motivation to fly and plummeted straight down. Every cultivator of the 9 heavens holy land, regardless if they were little cultivators of the fallen realm or elders of the purple mansion realm, couldn't help but soften their knees and bow to the ground. Only those Emperor Dongshu of the 9 heavens holy land in closed-door cultivation could remain unaffected, but even their faces showed surprise. Crossing Dao Ancestor Master. Emperor Donghuang walked out from his secluded cave mansion, with some bewilderment on his face. In the 5 great holy lands, only those of the crossing realm could be bestowed with the term Ancestor Master, as it was a level higher than the cave void realm, also most close to immortal level. Their combat strength was astounding, and they had a lifespan of 1,000,000 years. Besides the legendary undying immortals, they were the cultivators with the longest lifespan. Such crossing Dao Ancestor Masters had long since disregarded mundane affairs, focusing solely on closed-door cultivation, seeking a breakthrough opportunity to become immortal. Now, suddenly, with the revival of a crossing Dao ancestor master, Emperor Donghuang felt astonished, not knowing what had alarmed even the crossing Dao ancestor master. The immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror has emerged into the world. Find it. But soon, as a voice resounded through the void, shaking the world, it was the voice of the crossing Dao ancestor master, and Emperor Donghuang knew why the crossing Dao ancestor master had been startled. It turned out to be the resurfacing of the Kunlun Mirror, the supreme treasure of their 9 heavens holy land that they lost. Is it on the ancient continent? Emperor Donghuang's gaze lowered, his mind racing with thoughts. The Kunlun Mirror was originally stolen and lost by Emperor Tianwu, with the greatest likelihood that he left it on the ancient continent. Precisely now, as the ancient continent is undergoing an era of great conflict, with the heavenly Dao fortune determining the new Emperor Dongshu. And usually, those blessed by heavenly Dao fortune can come across immortal root treasure medicine by chance, stumble upon divine weapon treasures while strolling. If the Kunlun Mirror had appeared, maybe it was picked up as a lucky windfall by some chosen of fortune. After leaving this command, the aura of the crossing Dao ancestor master vanished without a trace, evidently having entered closed-door cultivation once more. Emperor Donghuang knew that it wasn't that the crossing Dao ancestor master didn't want to personally search for the immortal treasure, but in the realm of the crossing Dao ancestor master, the body left in the present world was nothing but a shell, while the true spirit had entered the Tao River, pursuing the elusive opportunity to become immortal, with the true spirit not being able to return to the shell anytime soon. Emperor, you have finally exited seclusion. There is an urgent matter to report. Just then, a disciple from the Iron Eagle Hall hurriedly came before Emperor Donghuang. Previously, while Emperor Donghuang was in seclusion, they didn't dare disturb him, only able to fret in silence, and now finally seized the opportunity as he left seclusion. What is the matter? Emperor Donghuang's imposing voice rang out. Emperor, we, disciples of the Iron Eagle Hall under the leadership of the Hall Master, following your orders, went to the ancient continent to investigate the matter of the Saint Heir's fall. But as soon as we found a little clue, the Hall Master was ambushed and killed in a foreign land. This disciple dared not conceal, narrating the efforts and sacrifices of their Iron Eagle Hall on the ancient continent, ending with, based on our investigation, the Dali dynasty, established by Emperor Tianwu on the ancient continent, has been overthrown. Now, the newly legitimate dynasty on the ancient continent is called the Great Xia dynasty, and their emperor is the great exponent of the demon path, Su Jie, known as Emperor Xingyuan. It is highly likely that the fall of the Saint Heir is the work of this man. The Great Xia dynasty Emperor Xingyuan? Could it be him? Emperor Donghuang's gaze darkened, not expecting the ancient continent to have resolved victory so quickly with a new dynasty established. And this so-called Emperor Xingyuan Su Jie, he is most likely the chosen of fortune of the ancient continent, meaning the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror might really be in his possession. As Emperor Donghuang thought more, he found it increasingly suspicious, perusing the investigative reports of Su Jie delivered by the disciples of the Iron Eagle Hall. Seeing Su Jie's growth trajectory that could only be described as soaring to the heavens, rising from an ordinary outer disciple of the demon path to the founder of the Great Xia dynasty within a few decades, Emperor Donghuang couldn't help but be even more suspicious. The immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror might truly be on Su Jie, as his rise was too abnormal. Compared to the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror, whether Saint Heir Meng Lei Zhe died by Su Jie's hand had already become an insignificant matter. Thinking of this, Emperor Donghuang's heartbeat quickened slightly. If he could recover the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror, it would be a considerable merit on the crossing Dao ancestor master side. Even Emperor Donghuang couldn't help but entertain a more daring thought. If he were to destroy Su Jie, and no one knew about the Kunlun Mirror, wouldn't it be possible to appropriate it for himself? The true spirit of the crossing ancestor in the Tao River had little perception of the present world. Otherwise, it wouldn't be unable to accurately locate the Kunlun Mirror. The ancient continent has been our 9 heavens holy lands territory since ancient times. Now that the chaotic era of the ancient continent has ended, it should return to our 9 heavens holy land, to welcome the new emperor to submit to us. The envoy has not yet been determined to guide this, so let me take a trip to the ancient continent. If Su Jie submits, the matter of Meng Lei Zhe's demise can still be reasoned out. If he is stubbornly mistaken, then let him experience the means of our holy land. Emperor Donghuang slowly spoke, taking on the mission to venture to the ancient continent. Whether to claim the Kunlun mirror for himself or first for the Holy Land, Emperor Donghuang wasn't planning to inform others, as having other emperors' involvement would only dilute his merit. Anyway, Su Jie had just founded the Great Xia dynasty, likely only at Purple Mansion peak at most right now. He thought back to his experience when he claimed the title of Emperor Donghuang. It took him decades just to refine a pocket world and achieve the Cave Void Realm. Su Jie could not possibly be his match, and hence he was determined for this mission to succeed. 33 Heavens. Su Jie successfully returned here with the annual ringworm and the thousand-hand centipede. With the barrier of the celestial level, even if those few chaotic creatures tracked him here, they couldn't get in. Phew! Have these chaotic creatures never seen an immortal treasure before? They're all like starving ghosts. Su Jie made a couple of sarcastic remarks, but he had a smile on his face. In general, the purpose of this trip to the Tao River was very successful, as he successfully hunted down a Tao Chaos creature. Sizzling. The thousand-hand centipede wobbled its head on Su Jie's shoulder, waving its antennae, eagerly looking at Su Jie. The annual ringworm also rolled playfully in Su Jie's palm, opening its small eyes adorably. All right, I know you're craving. Su Jie laughed freely and patted the heads of the two poisonous insects, then took out the immortal treasure Kunlun mirror, opened the portal to the moon, and stepped through in one stride. Soon, Su Jie returned to his moon. The moon was no longer barren like before, as Su Jie had changed the laws here. Spiritual root treasure medicine was swaying brilliantly, absorbing and exhaling spiritual energy, presenting an immortal-like scene. Open! At Su Jie's light command, the moon shell trembled beneath his feet, splitting open a fissure that revealed a passage to the moon core. Su Jie flew straight into it and quickly arrived at the core of the moon. Here was a semi-solid fluid magma, with the corpse of an evil eye chaos creature placed in the center by Su Jie. Sizzling. Cheers! The thousand-hand centipede and the annual ringworm in Su Jie's arms cried out happily, eagerly rushing forward to devour the massive corpse like a mountain, utilizing the devouring characteristic of the poisonous insects to digest the strength of the Tao Chaos creature. Su Jie wasn't idle either. The battle with the evil eye chaos creature made Su Jie more confident in his own strength, and the abnormalities of the immortal treasure Kunlun mirror also caught his attention. Let me see your origins then. Su Jie took out the Kunlun mirror, placing it in his palm for a closer look. Although Su Jie's accomplishments today were due to his extraordinary talent and hard work for 9 parts, he wouldn't deny the help of the Kunlun mirror. Without its assistance, reaching where he was today would have cost much more time. It's said that immortal treasures are legacies of immortals, so let me see your power. Su Jie then took out the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, with the left hand holding the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree and the right hand the immortal treasure Kunlun mirror, using both hands to strike them together forcefully. Buzz! The mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, a top-level Tao treasure, bloomed with a 9-colored treasure light, with divine and brilliant destructive divine thunder illuminating the world. Conversely, the Kunlun mirror merely glowed faintly, with the reflection of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree suddenly appearing in the mirror. Crackle! Su Jie's spiritual power was quickly consumed, at least 1/5 of the spiritual power poured into it, and within the mirror of the Kunlun mirror, the originally attacking 9-colored treasure light and destructive divine thunder halted suddenly before reversing back towards the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree. The mixed element Holy Thunder Tree shivered, its trunk bursting with divine thunder and treasure light. Golden lotus blossoms opened wide, countering the incoming treasure light and divine thunder. The two identical forces collided in the void, causing it to shatter and fragment, piercing through the long night of the Tao River, leaving Su Jie's arm numb from the shock. When everything settled, the immortal treasure Kunlun mirror remained unharmed. Conversely, some leaves of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree were slightly charred black, and the trunk appeared somewhat withered. Reflection and rebound? Su Jie was slightly surprised, finally realizing the first combat capability of the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror. Previously, the Kunlun Mirror for Su Jie was only used for teleportation between Tianyuan World and Blue Star. Now, because it devoured the soul of the Evil Eye Chaos creature, some cracks in the Kunlun Mirror were slightly repaired, partially restoring its power, barely allowing it for combat usage. Though this move was costly, it proved practical in battle, just that the maximum limit of the Kunlun Mirror's reflective power was still unknown. However, being able to resist the attack of the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, a top-level Dao treasure, at least it could reflect the attacks of Emperor Dongshu. This realization also made Su Jie recognize that even a damaged immortal treasure is not something a top-level Dao treasure could rival. Immortal treasures are still far above Dao treasures. No surprise they're called the legacies of immortals. It's unimaginable what unfathomable power a complete immortal treasure would possess. The 5 great holy lands dominate the Tianyuan world, and the power of immortal treasures contributes significantly. Do immortals really exist, Lord Tianwu? Su Jie's eyes flickered, suddenly gazing in the direction of Blue Star, where the records about immortals in the Royal Book Collection Pavilion of the Dali Dynasty were mostly vague legends. And in the direction of Mount Tai on Blue Star, a sudden 3.5 magnitude earthquake occurred, vaguely accompanied by thunderous cracks in the clear sky. He does exist. Suddenly, a few seconds after Su Jie's words fell, a voice inexplicably echoed. Su Jie's expression remained unchanged as he looked towards a blurry figure that appeared at the moon core without him knowing when. The moon is Su Jie's grotto heaven, and nothing that happens here can escape his notice. Earlier, he had discovered an unexpected visitor, who also had deep karmic connections with Su Jie. This figure was a middle-aged man wearing a golden imperial dragon robe, crowned with a headdress of 28 pearls, seeming to appear at the edge of heaven and earth, stepping on the Tao River and surrounded by 10,000 golden dragons, each like mountainous peaks. It was only a residual thought, yet, even after 1,000 years, it still exuded unparalleled majesty. This residual thought was undoubtedly the incarnation of Emperor Tianwu, who Su Jie had seen something similar on Dragon Sleep Mountain in Tianyuan World. You seem quite familiar with me, sir. Emperor Tianwu's obsession had a calm gaze. It was merely a lingering obsession within the Tao River of Blue Star, revived due to Su Jie's use of the immortal treasure Kunlun Mirror, which temporarily opened the Tao River and sensed the aura of the Kunlun Mirror. I saw you at Dragon Sleep Mountain. Of course, to you, I might be an enemy, as I overthrew the wealth and glory of your descendants. Su Jie shrugged, offering his response. Emperor Tianwu immediately understood, smiled, and said, It seems my unworthy descendants were overthrown by someone. You are this generation's Emperor Dongshu of the ancient continent. It appears I have fallen for too long. The world has changed too much. Did you do this to the planet? What is your emperor title? As Emperor Tianwu spoke, he had a peculiar look at Su Jie, clearly seeing that Su Jie had refined the moon into a grotto heaven, and sensed the scenes of spiritual energy recovery on Blue Star. To traditionalists like Emperor Tianwu, Su Jie's refining of the moon was considered heretical behavior. Emperor title, Star Yuan. Su Jie cupped his hands and then said, As they say, the predecessors plant trees, and the descendants enjoy the shade. Thank you, Lord Tianwu, for the treasures. Otherwise, I couldn't have remodeled this planet so conveniently. While speaking, Su Jie waved his hand, and from the storage bag flew out exquisite tables and chairs, along with several bottles of millennium-aged spiritual wine. Su Jie sat in the chair, began pouring the wine, and waved at Emperor Tianwu. With such a fateful encounter, why not have a drink? Haha, then I won't be courteous. Emperor Tianwu sat opposite Su Jie, lifted a teacup, and drank it all in one go. Refreshing, haha. It's been so long since I've drunk so comfortably. Emperor Tianwu nodded with satisfaction, looking at Su Jie with a gaze full of admiration. The younger generation today is truly remarkable, refining the moon into a grotto heaven successfully. It seems you've walked a unique path. Emperor Tianwu's gaze landed on the corpse of the evil eye chaos creature in the moon core, as well as the annual ring worms and the thousand-hand centipede still feeding, eliciting a heartfelt sigh. To hunt a mature form chaos creature signifies that Su Jie is not a nobody among the Grotto Heaven Emperors, and it also shows that Su Jie has successfully chosen the path of refining celestial bodies like the moon. Not at all, Lord Tianwu, a crossing realm strongman, resisting against the Holy Land, is a role model for us to learn from. I toast to you. Su Jie raised his wine glass and clinked it with Emperor Tianwu. Now Su Jie's horizons are broader. He has already noticed that although the figure in front of him is merely an obsession left by Emperor Tianwu, it will dissipate soon after revival, but Su Jie already saw some of the depths of the other. Emperor Tianwu was not just an Emperor Dongshu. He had already advanced to the crossing realm in his lifetime, else an obsession alone would not have such might. Even though it's mere obsession in front of him, Su Jie remained courteous. Regardless, the Kunlun mirror left by Emperor Tianwu is a blessing to Su Jie, and Emperor Tianwu's deeds in life suited Su Jie's taste. Back then, when the Kunlun mirror was left on this planet, I didn't expect such an outstanding successor. I'm not alone. Emperor Tianwu laughed heartily, examining Su Jie from head to toe, and said, "If I'm not mistaken, your surname should be Su? You can calculate that too?" Su Jie raised an eyebrow. Deducing the Emperor Dongshu's birth characters could not be achieved by crossing realm, let alone mere obsession. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather should know me. I remember it was called the Tang Dynasty back then. Later, I was ambushed by the Nine Heavens Holy Land united with 2 other holy lands in Tianyuan. In my dying moments, I returned to Blue Star with the Kunlun Mirror. Your great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather took care of my final days and finally handed the Kunlun Mirror to him in exchange for a decent burial and arrangement of my affairs. Emperor Tianwu smiled, pointing out the key. Su Jie suddenly realized that the Kunlun Mirror was indeed ancestral. He had thought it was a boast by his ancestors, but never imagined his great-great-great-great-great-great-grandfather was so awesome, even sending off a crossing emperor. The Kunlun Mirror passed to Su Jie's hands could certainly be said to follow an orderly inheritance. It seems our 2 families truly have a deep affinity. Even Su Jie sighed at the remarkable fate. Indeed, his great ancestor was farsighted, knowing to save a crossing emperor to gain heavenly blessings for the descendants. There is fate. Emperor Tianwu also sighed, and the 2 exchanged a smile filled with laughter. Earlier, you said that immortals truly exist? After reminiscing, Su Jie actively brought up the previous topic. Regarding the existence of immortals, Su Jie believed with some skepticism. This term was always vaguely recorded in some ancient murals. Emperor Tianwu nodded and said, I once pursued traces of immortals. This is also the pursuit of all crossing cultivators. According to my investigations, in the ancient times of the Tianyuan world, true immortals indeed existed, beings surpassing crossing cultivators. I can tell you clearly that above hollow lies crossing, and crossing cultivators, literally, can achieve great freedom in the Tao River, freely traverse within, fully employing the power of the Tao River. As for what an immortal is, remember one sentence. To go with the flow is to be ordinary, to go against is to be immortal. This is the immortal. Only by going against the flow of the Tao River can one become an immortal. Compared to true immortals, even I, a crossing cultivator with freedom in the Tao River, am like a mortal against immortals, with no comparison whatsoever. Emperor Tianwu, narrating like a casual chat, shared stories of immortals with Su Jie. Why are there no traces of immortals now? Su Jie inquired further. This was also the shared confusion among all Tianyuan cultivators. Since immortals exist, why are they traceless? Why cannot any cultivator become immortal afterward? This is also the answer I want to know. I've been searching for it, but alas, you've seen my current state, I haven't succeeded. Emperor Tianwu pointed at himself, speaking of his death quite matter-of-factly. The 5 great holy lands, do they know the secret to becoming immortal? Are they the immortals' Tao? Su Jie switched to asking another question about the origin of the 5 great holy lands. This is what the 5 great holy lands claim externally. They all say they are the immortal Tao, but some say they merely stumbled upon the heritage and caves of immortals, thus rising, not counting as the immortal Tao. The truth is unknown, but the 5 great holy lands do harbor great secrets. Regarding immortals and immortality, they know more than I do. Though seeming to compete among themselves, when it comes to the secrets of becoming immortal, the 5 great holy lands unanimously block it. At this point, Emperor Tianwu raised a wine cup and clinked with Su Jie, laughing. So I despise them. I, originally a mere firekeeper in the 9 heavens holy land, spent a lifetime either opposing the holy land or on the path of opposition. When you see the 9 heavens holy land, be sure to give them a good beating for me. Rest assured, I also dislike the holy lands. The head saint heir of the 9 heavens holy land you mentioned died at my hands. Su Jie winked, saying unashamedly, "Ha ha! Well done." The Kunlun mirror was entrusted to the right person. Emperor Tianwu stood up laughing. His figure increasingly blurred, as the time for his lingering obsession was nearly up. My time is up, young man. I hope you can lead the ancient continent to a better path. I have high hopes for you. Emperor Tianwu cupped his hands toward Su Jie and walked toward the Tao River, his figure washed by the chaotic qi flow, like a pencil drawing being erased, gradually fading from space and the Tao River. Su Jie watched Emperor Tianwu's disintegrating and dissipating figure, and suddenly said, "Lord Tianwu, are you truly dead?" Emperor Tianwu suddenly turned back, his eyes glowing brightly, and disappeared from Su Jie's sight. Watching the back of Emperor Tianwu disappearing, Su Jie lowered his head to look at the Kunlun mirror in his hand. If Emperor Tianwu had truly faked his death and left, even abandoning the Kunlun mirror, Su Jie had to admit that his schemes were grand indeed. The only goal worthy enough for the crossing emperor to sacrifice everything for would be to become immortal. Of course, it's also possible that Emperor Tianwu really did die. He was ambushed and besieged by 3 crossing realm experts, barely escaping back to Blue Star through the Kunlun mirror, and ultimately succumbed to his wounds far from home. Shaking his head, Su Jie brushed away the thoughts from his mind and didn't dwell on the issue, turning his gaze once more to the moon core. While Su Jie was conversing with Emperor Tianwu, the 1,000-hand centipede and the annual ringworm had not stopped feasting. Using their powerful digestive capabilities, they had devoured most of the evil eye chaos creature's corpse. At this moment, both goo insects appeared dizzy and bloated, clearly overfed and unable to digest more. Su Jie stepped forward to inspect the state of the 2 goo insects. Every time a goo insect undergoes spirit refining, a mark is left on its forehead, much like how a tree adds a ring for every year of growth. In the past, the top grade 9 refinement 1,000-hand centipede had 9 spirit refining marks on its forehead, resembling an interlocking 9-point star map. However, with its cultivation stagnant, no amount of goo insects could help it break through. But now, after consuming the evil eye chaos creature, the stagnant power of the 1,000-hand centipede began to grow once more. The 9-point star spirit refining mark on its head was faintly expanding into a 10-point star pattern. Like the 1,000-hand centipede, the annual ringworm also greatly benefited from the evil eye chaos creature's remains, revealing signs of breaking through to become a 10-turn golden goo. Buzz! The 1,000-hand centipede reverted to its true form in front of Su Jie. Originally over 3,000 meters long, it now grew again, exceeding 10,000 meters in length, exuding an aura akin to a top-tier purple mansion. The annual ringworm's size didn't increase, but the power of time coiled within it grew denser, a conceptual ability that even Su Jie couldn't master at present. To eat and grow, you sometimes can't help but envy them. Seeing this, Su Jie couldn't help but express his sentiment. Compared to the arduous challenges cultivators face in breaking through and their need for various resources, goo insects only needed to eat well, leveraging their devouring traits with almost no bottlenecks. The reason their cultivation hadn't advanced before was due to the lack of suitable food for the top-grade 9 refinement goo insects. But now, with chaos creatures, it was a different story. But while it sounds simple, for others it is a nearly impossible path. After all, the combat strength of chaos creatures speaks for itself. Even when Emperor Dongshu encountered them, it was an even match at best. Not to mention, who would prey on whom when hunting chaos creatures in the Tao River? Only someone like Su Jie had the confidence to easily subdue chaos creatures, hunting enough food for the thousand-hand centipede and the annual ringworm to ascend. Buzz! The thousand-hand centipede opened its mouth and its antennae twitched, a clear indication to Su Jie of the situation. For the thousand-hand centipede to break through to a 10-turn golden goo, it's not enough to digest just one chaos creature. It needs several. This involves a conversion rate issue, similar to raising pigs. No matter how much grain is fed, the weight gain isn't proportional. While hunting chaos creatures is no problem for Su Jie, the weakest point of the thousand-hand centipede and the annual ringworm as goo insects is their soul. Their devouring traits lead to physical growth, but to ascend to a 10-turn golden goo, their divine soul or soul strength must also be up to par. It seems the decision to build the heavenly Tao spectacles wasn't wrong. When the 3 spectacles are completed, with Shao Qian and Ru Yan alongside me, we might be the 3 great emperors of a nation. Su Jie muttered to himself. To enhance the divine soul, the faith power of the heavenly Tao spectacles can construct the heavenly palace, which will exponentially increase the divine soul. The future construction of 3 spectacles by the Great Xia dynasty is crucial for the hollow ascension of Han Ruyan, the thousand-hand centipede, and the annual ringworm. When the day comes that the 3 heavenly Tao spectacles are completed, alongside Su Jie, 1 man, 1 ghost, 1 insect, they could be the supreme triumvirate shaking the Tianyuan world. Annual ringworm. Papilla. The annual ringworm puffed its cheeks and rolled its eyes, indicating its dissatisfaction at being deemed insignificant due to its tiny size. Several days later, Tianyuan world. Today, Dali City was especially lively and jubilant because it was the day Emperor Xingyuan was to marry Qin Yushang, director of the Heavenly Patrol Department. Currently, the Empress had yet to be installed, and as the new emperor's first concubine, the event garnered worldwide attention, especially among the former imperial family members of the Wei clan, who sighed deeply and wished for their eldest princess to replace the new bride. However, the eldest Princess Wei Yushuang paid no mind to her clan's scattered thoughts. As Qin Yushang's friend, she specially attended her friend's wedding. Yushuang, I'll talk to Su Jie to ease his targeting towards you. Just swallow your pride a little. In a mansion decorated in vibrant red, today's protagonist, Qin Yushang, sat in front of a vanity mirror wearing a bright red wedding dress. Her already stunning beauty was even more radiant, possessing an allure that could captivate an entire nation. As she was doing Qin Yushang's hair and makeup, Wei Yushuang froze momentarily, her hands still. No need, she responded firmly. Qin Yushang sighed. Growing up together, she was well aware of Wei Yushuang's stubborn nature. Yushuang, now is not the time to be obstinate. Look at you, you've grown so thin lately. It's not just about who goes to the wars. Qin Yushang spoke to persuade, as she also understood what Wei Yushuang was thinking. A once proud heavenly daughter had become a princess of a fallen kingdom. Leading her to bow to Su Jie was a formidable task. Wei Yushuang was silent for a moment, looking into the dressing mirror at Qin Yushang, whose beauty could overshadow the moon and flowers. In comparison, although she still looked pretty now, she appeared slimmer than before, with a hint of weariness lingering between her brows. This was because Su Jie had appointed her as the general of conquest. She spent days leading troops to conquer and annex small countries. Even for Qin Yushang's wedding, she had only briefly returned, soon to hurry back to the battlefield. With the high-intensity war, she, as a Purple Mansion strongman, had to rush to various battlefields to resolve urgent crises, and she was utterly exhausted. If not for family obligations with Wei Yushuang's temperament, she would have long stopped working for Su Jie. This is my choice, you don't have to persuade me anymore. Wei Yushuang shook her head, refusing Qin Yushang's kindness. Oh you! Wei Yushuang was initially taken aback and quickly interrupted Qin Yushang. Stop, 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 that's absolutely impossible. Who spread the rumor? How could I possibly have feelings for him? I've already sternly rejected it in my family. It seems to be some elders of the Wei family. Anyway, they've been spreading it everywhere throughout Dili City while you were out on campaign. Damn it. I'll deal with them when I get back. Wei Yushuang's pretty face darkened, fully aware that those Wei family members were still persistent, wanting to arrange a marriage with Su Jie to gain wealth and glory. Miss, the hour has come. At this moment, a maid's voice came from outside the door, and Wei Yushuang looked at Qin Yushang and said, "If Su Jie bullies you, you must tell me." Although aware of her limited capabilities, Wei Yushuang still promised. "He treats me very well." Qin Yushang smiled, without any sense of grievance or reluctance about the arranged marriage, only anticipation and shyness about the union. Wei Yushuang was silent as she escorted Qin Yushang out the door, watching as her friend boarded the flower sedan chair, with the lively wedding procession all around. Perhaps this was the best choice for her friend after all. Meanwhile, others were also watching the wedding procession. Damn it! Damn it! Damn it! Ning Xinyue bit her silver teeth, looking at the tenly red procession on the street, her small fists clenched tightly. Didn't Su Jie invite you to the Imperial Palace? Why are you here watching on the street? This is the behavior of a loser. Beside her, Ning Yuning mercilessly teased. If Ning Yuning had lived on Blue Star, she'd certainly have used the term loser. Ning Xinyue was incensed and retorted unhappily. I'm not going to see that scoundrel gloat. Besides, what's so great about it? Ning Yuning found her stubborn sister amusing and said, Do you even believe yourself when you say that? Little pearls are already welling up in your eyes. No way. Ning Xinyue quickly wiped her reddened eyes, stubbornly asserting that she didn't care at all. Enough of this. Come drink with me. I'm going to drink until I'm drunk and never think of that scoundrel again. Ning Xinyue didn't want to watch the heart-wrenching scene any longer. She dragged her sister to a tavern, planning to get thoroughly drunk. Ning Yuning chuckled and shook her head, dotingly accompanying her sister in spirited drinking at the tavern. When the moon was high in the sky, Ning Yuning supported the softly drunken Ning Xinyue out of the tavern as she mumbled nonsense. You can barely handle your drink, yet you suppress your cultivation to drink. Seeing her tipsy sister resembling a boneless kitten, Ning Yuning was about to tease her when she suddenly sensed something. Inside her, the 10,000 dragon pearl vaguely vibrated. A surge of impulse directed her sight to a middle-aged man who had just brushed past her. That middle-aged man seemed unremarkable, devoid of any aura or cultivation presence. Yet, Ning Yuning trusted her impulse and believed the 10,000 dragon pearl wouldn't react without reason. This man. As Ning Yuning pondered this, the unremarkable middle-aged man suddenly turned his head. Boom! An invisible spirit impact surged like a monstrous wave, causing Ning Yuning to halt her steps, her gaze becoming sharp. Girl from 10,000 Tribulations' Holy Land, don't get in the way. A voice exploded in Ning Yuning's mind, and at the same time, a majestic figure appeared, like a blazing sun, aiming to subdue Ning Yuning's soul into unconsciousness. Ning Yuning's face turned cold, her entire aura rapidly ascending, her cultivation realm within her originally fixed at Dao platform peak swiftly breaking through. Purple Mansion early stage, Purple Mansion middle stage, Purple Mansion late stage. The power of the 10,000 Tribulations Nirvana technique allowed Ning Yuning to initially resist the imposing aura of this majestic figure. Oh! This figure let out a slight sound of surprise, and a vast, continuous mountain range appeared behind it, emitting an aura that could suppress heaven and earth, ready to completely subdue Ning Yuning. Just at that moment, the 10,000 dragon pearl within Ning Yuning was stimulated, and a strand of power revived, causing the face of the majestic figure to change dramatically, dispersing like smoke into nothingness. Ning Yuning was momentarily dazed, then looked forward again, but the figure of the middle-aged man was no longer there. Sister, what just happened? Such a terrifying aura. Ning Xinyue had been awakened by the aura from earlier, instantly operating her cultivation to dispel the alcohol, seeing her sister in a daze, unaware of what had occurred. Someone from 9 Heavens' Holy Land has arrived. Ning Yuning's gaze became more serious, as she already understood the situation. Ah! Ning Xingyue knew that Su Jie had offended 9 Heavens' Holy Land and even killed their saint heir. Seeing her sister so serious, it couldn't possibly be Emperor Dongshu. Could it? Ning Yuning sighed and said, "Just as you thought. Tonight's wedding might end up in a bloodbath." "What? No way. I need to find Su Jie. Make him flee quickly." Ning Xingyue was extremely anxious. Though she was unhappy that Su Jie wasn't marrying her, the moment she heard he was targeted by Emperor Dongshu of 9 Heavens' Holy Land, all she could think about was Su Jie's safety. Even though she had confidence in Su Jie, she didn't think he could overturn Hollow from Purple Mansion. Once Emperor Dongshu caught him, Su Jie wouldn't stand a chance of surviving. It's too late. Ning Yuning looked at the brightly lit Imperial Palace and lightly sighed. Inside the Imperial Palace, a grand and solemn wedding was underway. Normally, the emperor wouldn't hold such a grand ceremony for marrying a concubine. But Su Jie never adhered to rules, much less with Qin Yushang's power and status. A Purple Mansion strongman esteemed by any dynasty as a national treasure. Even for the sake of the Purple Mansion strongman, the marriage procedure couldn't be handled shabbily. So, after the rites of informing heaven and earth, establishing titles, welcoming, audience, congratulatory rites, feasting, and blessing, the entire day passed just like that. As the moon reached its zenith in the inner palace, Qin Yushang, covered in a red veil and wearing a splendid wedding dress, sat by the dragon bed, hearing footsteps approaching from outside, her face blushing with shyness, clutching the bedding nervously. Creak! As the door swung open, Qin Yushang's delicate body tensed up. As the footsteps approached, the red veil was lifted, revealing Su Jie's familiar face right before her, causing her to shyly close her eyes. Yushang! Su Jie reached out, embracing Qin Yushang's delicate body, feeling the tension in her body, and couldn't help but smile. As they say, a spring night is worth 1,000 gold. Such a stunningly beautiful woman, with unparalleled charm. Su Jie wouldn't want to waste this wonderful time, holding Qin Yushang ready to fall onto the bed. Just then, a voice resonated from the sky, echoing throughout the Imperial Palace and all of Dali City. "Who is Su Jie? Come out quickly to greet the Emperor." This voice was grand and authoritative, carrying an incomparable sense of pressure and unparalleled arrogance. Not only calling out Su Jie's name directly, but also demanding that Su Jie, the Emperor Xingyun, present himself. In an instant, countless people were jolted awake from their sleep, pressed by this invisible imperial might, like small animals facing heavenly might, shivering under this overwhelming voice. Su Jie, just about to make his move, paused, his face darkened. Being interrupted at such a moment, Su Jie's temper flared. Even if it were the King of Heaven, Su Jie would want to tear him apart. Su Jie turned over and descended from the bed, eyes filled with fierce intent, his gaze piercing through the rafters and glazed tiles above, as if he were a volcano about to erupt. "Husband, I'll help you." Qin Yushang's spiritual power inside her was almost entirely subdued under that heavenly might, but her expression was serious as she reached her hand toward the spiritual treasure hanging at the bedside. She was not some delicate little girl, but a true Purple Mansion strongman. "Stay here and wait obediently for my return. This time, the enemy is Emperor Dongshu." Su Jie shook his head, pressing down Qin Yushang's hand. This level of battle, Qin Yushang was not able to handle. "Emperor Dongshu?" Qin Yushang gasped in surprise, her heart trembling, and an expression of concern appeared in her eyes. "Husband, let's find a place to avoid the limelight first." Qin Yushang instinctively sought a retreat. Emperor Dongshu was an unbeatable foe. "Avoid him!" Su Jie snorted with laughter, and with a slap on Qin Yushang's plentiful rounded buttocks, amidst her coquettish cries, laughed. "Stay well in bed, waiting for me to come back and adore. Once I wipe out this guy, I'll be back shortly." The final syllable hadn't fully faded, before Su Jie had already soared up to the sky dome. Above Dali City, Su Jie saw this unexpected guest. The other was adorned in a golden emperor dragon robe with a mysterious crown beneath which eyes as deep black as the abyss held a terrifying authority. The great emperor's pressure radiating from him shook the night sky. Around him hovered law heavenly marks. Behind him a miniature divine mountain stood, shimmering in the starlight. Su Jie was not unfamiliar with this person. They had once met on the battlefield of Dragon Sleep Mountain, and even blasted his rival with the moon. This person was indeed Emperor Donghuang from the Nine Heavens Holy Land, a bona fide Emperor Dongshu. However, the one Su Jie blasted at that time was merely a consciousness avatar of Emperor Donghuang. And the one before him was Emperor Donghuang's true form, absolutely incomparable to the avatar. The present Emperor Donghuang stood silently in the void, with the oppression from him causing the entire void to emit cracks and rupturing sounds. Billions of chaotic chi flows swirled around like waterfalls. It seemed even the heavens and earth were unable to bear his true self, like an ancient god stepping out, dignified, sacred, eternal. Such a scene would have rendered others scared stiff like a wooden chicken. But Su Jie merely smirked in disdain. Emperor Dongshu was clearly controlling his aura masterfully, intentionally trying to intimidate. "Are you Su Jie? You should know me and understand why I have come." Emperor Donghuang's gaze lowered, hands behind him. His voice rolled like heavenly thunder, silencing every life form within 1,000 miles. The populace of Delhi City was agitated, fear showing on their faces. Upon seeing this, Su Jie snorted coldly. "Emperor Donghuang, right? Nine Heavens Holy Land sent only you." As Su Jie's voice rang out, the void seemed to ripple with Miao Yin, counteracting Emperor Donghuang's oppressive aura. The citizens of Delhi City immediately felt a release of tension, gasping for breath. Many could not help but gaze at the sky dome, witnessing the standoff between two great emperors, as if witnessing a myth. Emperor Donghuang's expression subtly tightened, speaking faintly. "A bit capable. No wonder you could become the final victor in the struggle for heavenly Dao fortune on the ancient continent. But the difference in the cave void realm is not something your purple mansion strength can cover. Now I give you two choices. Either join Nine Heavens Holy Land and follow the orders of the Holy Land or die, accompanying the Saint Heir in burial." He. Su Jie seemed to hear the biggest joke, eyes fixed on Emperor Donghuang. It was clear the latter assumed Su Jie was merely a purple mansion cultivator, which is why he dared come alone. "Why are you laughing?" Emperor Donghuang's brows slightly furrowed. Seeing Su Jie laughing so wildly, he couldn't understand Su Jie's confidence. He had entered the ancient continent fully prepared, having checked the 10,000 dragon pearl no longer affected him. Upon entering Delhi City, he discovered the 10,000 tribulation saintess had obtained the 10,000 dragon pearl, but she clearly could not unleash its power. Without the 10,000 dragon pearl, on the ancient continent he was invincible. Su Jie laughed heartily until the laughter subsided. His gaze toward Emperor Donghuang was rife with cruelty and mockery, sneering. "I laugh at your ignorance and fearlessness, so eager to rush to your death. I choose neither of your options. I have a third choice, which is to send you to death. Fool!" As the words fell, Su Jie's pressure belonging to an Emperor Dongshu erupted completely. Rumble! It was earth-shattering. A miniature gray-white moon emerged from the void, flying around Su Jie. Centered on Su Jie, the void resembled a mirror streaked with cracks. The power of great Dao law surged forth, disintegrating everything into dust. In that moment, Emperor Donghuang's expression changed dramatically, as if haunted, losing his composure. "Impossible! How can you be cave void?" Su Jie had just founded the Great Xia dynasty, barely 3 months ago. Accomplishing cave void in 3 months? Back then, even he took over a decade to ascend to Emperor Dongshu, which was considered fast. Some emperors took decades, which was perfectly normal. After all, Pocket World was no simple matter to refine. Even with heavenly Dao fortune's aid, it required time to slowly grind out. Yet Su Jie today shattered his preconceived notions. The kind of overwhelming pressure like a stormy sea, chaotic chi flows surging like 10,000 heavy waves, a great emperor's majesty, couldn't possibly be fake. Too much talk. Today I will slay you here, and amputate one of 9 heavens' holy land's claws extending toward ancient continent. Su Jie frowned and snorted coldly, looking at Emperor Dong Huang, whose face had dramatically changed, like a little white rabbit breaking into a lion's den, and step by step walked towards him. With each step forward, the void beneath his feet cracked open, chaotic chi raging, making this piece of heaven and earth tremble. Just a recently promoted cave void realm, the gap between you and me is still as vast as a chasm. Do you think I've lived these tens of thousands of years for nothing? Emperor Dong Huang quickly regained his composure. He had read Su Jie's profiles. From beginning cultivation to achieving the title of Emperor Dongshu, it took only a few decades. And he lived for tens of thousands of years, confident that whether it was cultivation, treasures, magic, or physique, he surpassed Su Jie in many ways. Just the refined pocket world, 10,000 Peaks Mountain, was far larger than ordinary cave voids, and not something a newly promoted little emperor like Su Jie could dare to mimic. If Su Jie hadn't likely held the Kunlun mirror, even if Su Jie had become emperor, he was confident he could suppress him. Just as Emperor Dong Huang was thinking this, suddenly he saw Su Jie make a move. Su Jie clenched his fingers into a fist and simply threw a straight punch. Instantly, the winds and clouds changed color. The sky transformed from a long night into daytime. As Su Jie's punch held immense power, coupled with the operation of the neutron combat body and sun fusion divine scripture, the powerful gravity distorted the starlight, resembling the blinding explosive force of the sun, making the sky bright, causing onlookers' eyes to sting and pour tears. Emperor Dong Huang raised his arm to defend, but before Su Jie's punch even got close, his skin looked like rippled water, flesh trembling violently, gums exposed, eye sockets cracking open, nostrils pointed upwards, hair whipping, losing all the majesty of the cave void emperor. Boom! At the moment of contact, a mushroom cloud hundreds of kilometers high rose into the sky, with a scorching ball of collision like the devil's grim face, threatening to destroy everything in the world. If this mushroom cloud had run rampant, the entire city would have been wiped out, almost none surviving. But at the next moment, as the mushroom cloud soared, a more terrifying twisted gravity swept through. The hundreds of kilometers high mushroom cloud began to collapse violently, twisted by gravity, all power focused on Su Jie's fist. Crack! The sound of bones cracking came from Emperor Donghuang's arm, his left hand colliding with Su Jie twisted like a pretzel, fingers broken, exposing the ghastly white bones to the air. In the blink of an eye, shockwaves rippled through the air, scattering clouds for thousands of miles. Emperor Donghuang was punched out millions of meters by Su Jie, crashing heavily into a mountain, causing the mountain to crumble and collapse. Su Jie's punch was terrifyingly mighty. Even chaotic creatures, famous for size and physique, could not withstand Su Jie's unrivaled battle body, and neither could Emperor Dong Huang, paying the price for his actions. Inside, this guy, when did he ascend to Cave Void Emperor? Ning Yuning's bright eyes glanced around, revealing a hint of astonishment on her exquisitely sculpted beautiful face, pale like carved jade. Sister, you saw that Su Jie, he's Cave Void Realm, genuinely Cave Void Emperor. He punched that Emperor Dong Huang flying. This bastard is actually so strong, Cave Void Emperor. He's reached the status of the great ancestors. Wei Yushuang proudly looked up, her eyes complex. Su Jie repeatedly broke her understanding. This mighty figure emerging from Qingzhou's demon path, one day could single-handedly overthrow a Cave Void Emperor. If someone told her a few years ago, she would only assume the person was delusional, but this incredible thing solidly happened. Few, thankfully. Qin Yushang, wearing a red wedding dress, stood in the inner courtyard of the palace, looking at the invincible aura of her man in the sky, feeling genuinely happy, while also relieved, finally knowing why Su Jie was so confident. On the battlefield, Su Jie stood in the night sky, one hand behind his back, pointing forward with the other hand. Old thing, you live those tens of thousands of years like a dog's life. This level of strength, I can suppress you with one hand. Boom! Emperor Donghuang soared up from the collapsed mountain, features ferocious, filled with murderous intent. The shrunken 10,000 Peaks mountain behind him began to expand, transforming into a 1,000-mile-long mountain range apparition. And he roared, "Junior, you are seeking death." The 1,000-mile-long 10,000 Peaks mountain pressed across the heavens and earth, the trees on the mountains transforming into hair, millions of tons of rock into knotted muscles, great rivers and waterfalls into surging blood, for main peaks into towering hooves. In the blink of an eye, with 10,000 Peaks mountain as the foundation, a 10,000 Peaks bull carried mountains, stepped on rivers, topped the sky, surrounded by the power of countless laws, appeared. 10,000 Peaks Mountain in the northern territory of Donghuang Continent is a famous pocket world. This mountain range has an average height of over 9,000 meters, home to numerous flying beasts and spirit root treasure medicine. It is rich in a kind of spiritual material named Shenhuang steel gold, extremely sturdy, and has gravity properties. Once entering the mining area, the magnetic field and gravity variations make it impossible for even Taoist platform realm experts to venture into the main mining region. The Cave Void Emperor's refined grotto would inherit the characteristics of grotto. This is called the power of laws. The 10,000 Peaks bull before him is Emperor Donghuang's refinement of 10,000 Peaks Mountain's law power manifested. Its body hard, power incredible, controlling gravity. This is Emperor Donghuang's full glory. He no longer dares to underestimate Su Jie at all. This 10,000 Peaks bull once appeared, its eyes reddened, roaring to the sky, surrounded by countless laws. One roar shatters mountains and rivers, charging towards Su Jie fiercely, causing the earth to tremble and mountains shake in its path. Su Jie did not dodge, leapt to meet the challenge, transforming into a falling flame meteor. Roar! The 10,000 Peaks bull roared and charged, pressing immense gravity laws, colliding with Su Jie's neutron combat body. Bang! 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 The mountain-carrying 10,000 Peaks bull took 3 steps back. Surrounding mountains and rivers were destroyed in swathes. On the other hand, Su Jie's arm just slightly trembled, stepping back half a step. Roar! Roar! The 10,000 Peaks bull increasingly furious, urging gravity laws to suppress, wanting to heavily restrain Su Jie. But the next second, Su Jie sneered, "A craftsman's axe at the master's gate." Neutron combat body fully operating, unleashing the twisted gravity crushing everything, forcing stars to collapse, dispelling the gravity covering. The gravity laws, as widely known, gravity is merely a branch of gravity. The macro specifications of single strength are different, not to mention Emperor Donghuang as a local faction emperor, mostly ignorant of the profound nature of strength, merely using instinctively, incomparable with Su Jie's mastery of neutron combat body. However, the power of their collision was so great, it caused surrounding earth and mountains to collapse, rewriting the terrain. Seeing this, Su Jie ripped the Tao River open with both hands, actively shifting the battlefield. Otherwise, fighting feels hands tied. Humph! Trying to escape. Emperor Donghuang just took out a Black 8 diagram array plate, a great Emperor Dao treasure, his exclusive divine weapon. Seeing Su Jie enter the Tao River, mistakenly thought Su Jie planned to escape using the Tao River, seeing his hand holding the Dao treasure. The battle power comparison between Cave Void Emperors, besides the refined grotto scale and exclusive cultivation technique, also depends on the Dao treasure possessed. Just like ordinary people's battle, the difference between fighting with a knife and empty-handed. And Su Jie just ascended to Cave Void Realm. Emperor Donghuang did not believe Su Jie could possess a Dao treasure. Hence, he didn't think twice, pursuing Su Jie into the Tao River with the Dao treasure's might, determined to eliminate the threat of Su Jie. In the Tao River, streams of chaotic qi flow like turbulent river water, washing and shaking the void. Suddenly, a figure flickered across, and Su Jie appeared here. The originally volatile Tao River began to silence with Su Jie at the center, like a pool of dead water. In the next second, following Su Jie's footsteps, Emperor Donghuang rode the 10,000 Peaks bull, thundering into the Tao River. Su Jie, even if you escape to the ends of the earth today, it will be useless. Emperor Donghuang held the 8 diagram array plate, with killing intent filled in his eyes. Escape! Su Jie curved his lips coldly, mocking. I hope you remember what you said. The battle has just begun. Su Jie moved his body, watching the 10,000 Peaks bull charging toward him. The moon behind him kept expanding, becoming a gray-white satellite with a diameter of thousands of kilometers. What is that? Emperor Donghuang's expression slightly stiffened, looking up in disbelief at the moon hanging high in the sky. Previously, he felt that the grotto heaven refined by Su Jie was somewhat peculiar. But when this grotto heaven truly revealed itself, he realized he had underestimated Su Jie. It's what wants your life. Su Jie joined his palms together, chanting the heavenly constitution. Witness the power of the moon. Fatian Shangdi, Moon Shura. As he spoke, Su Jie melded into the moon. Immediately, the moon began a dramatic transformation. Like a transformer, slabs of heavy basalt moon shell transformed into a solid outer skin, mountain ranges into bulging muscular groups, canyons into facial features, semi-solidified lava into running roaring blood. Iron, uranium, potassium, silicon, magnesium, titanium, calcium, aluminum, hydrogen, phosphorus, rare earth elements, helium, nickel, sodium, copper, and other rare elements and minerals constructed its tall, hard skeleton. In a mere instant, Su Jie transformed, using the moon as a foundation, into a gray-white 8-armed giant standing 3,000 kilometers tall, with a head like Mount Tai, a waist like graceful ridges, eyes like lightning, a mouth like a blood basin, and teeth like sword javelins, appearing in the Tao River. This is the moon law visualized. Su Jie combined his own knowledge, transforming it into external power, like driving a mecha, making it more flexible for combat. Su Jie stood holding up the sky, shaking divine might, fierce and toothy blue face with crimson hair, glaring fiercely at the 10,000 Peaks bull, like a giant from myth chasing stars and moon, raising a punch to smash. Bang! Thunderous explosion echoed throughout the Tao River, accompanied by the sound of the mountain body of the 10,000 Peaks bull shattering. The terrifying power made chaotic chi flow surge like tides, spreading out in tsunami-like ripples. Roar! Under Su Jie's control, 8 mountain range huge arms swung like wind, continuously slamming into the 10,000 Peaks bull, causing its body to keep breaking apart, with large chunks of mountain disintegrating and falling off. Then, under the force of gravity, it aggregated onto the moon Shura, making it grow even larger. Although the moon's law lacks many characteristics, the sheer size brings pure strength, enough to crush the 10,000 Peaks bull. In the presence of the 3,000-kilometer-high moon Shura, the originally enormous 10,000 Peaks bull seemed like a dirt dog, completely incomparable in size. The difference in the level of grotto heaven between the two is obvious. Upon first encounter, the 10,000 Peaks bull already found it hard to continue, its body filled with cracks, more than half shattered. Witnessing this scene, Emperor Donghuang's expression kept changing. He held the Tao Treasure 6 trigrams 8 diagrams plate aimed at Su Jie, where thousands of clear glows shined. Qian! Emperor Donghuang pointed to the sky, and the 6 trigrams 8 diagrams plate revealed an ancient divine text, Qian. And suddenly the weather changed. A cloudy sky appeared above Su Jie's head. Kun! Emperor Donghuang stomped his foot, and a piece of profound yellow earth appeared beneath Su Jie's feet. The sky above and the thick soil below acted like a world-destroying millstone, beginning to reverse rotation, even causing the void to spin, intending to twist, tear, and grind Su Jie's azure body into blood and flesh residue. Can, Li Zhen, Zhen, Sun, Dui. Emperor Donghuang's heavenly voice reverberated, fully wielding the power of the 6 trigrams 8 diagrams plate Tao Treasure. Void produced heavenly fire for refining, as if 10,000 volcanoes erupted simultaneously, covering Su Jie. Heavenly thunder emerged from void, transforming into thunder spears, each spear over 10,000 meters in size, piercing and slashing down. Moreover, torrential rivers surged, as if a sea rolled over to devour. Overwhelming mountain pressure made one seem squeezed by countless mountain ranges. Strong wind like billions of swords cut, able to slice mountains into pieces. Attacks evolved from the 6 trigrams 8 diagrams plate assaulted Su Jie. As Emperor Donghuang saw Su Jie's Azure body start to show cracks, he revealed a joyful expression. It's still not too late to beg for mercy now. Surrender to me, and come to the 9 heavens holy land to admit your mistakes. Perhaps you can still survive. Emperor Donghuang wore a confident smile, feeling victorious with the Tao treasure in his hand. However, Su Jie did not think so. Watching the reversing void power and the attacks surrounding him, Su Jie's eyes simply lifted. This is your full strength? It's too weak. Su Jie's gaze was cold, with the neutron combat body operating. Ultimate gravity tore apart the surrounding heavenly fire, divine thunder, strong wind, mountain ranges, and the river completely. Even the sky above and thick soil below were quaking. Emperor Donghuang's face twitched, hurriedly strengthening the Tao treasure's offensive, while speaking psychological pressure. Stop making futile struggles. In the Tao River, a Tao treasure can exert its full power. In your state, how long can you hold on? Even if you could endure, you'd eventually be exhausted to death. Su Jie didn't speak, merely extending all 8 arms simultaneously. Extreme gravity concentrated in his hands, and the fusion reaction within his Azure body surged, ultimately transforming the rolling spiritual energy into a heaven-opening divine axe in the palm of his hand. Enough chattering. Take a swing of my axe. Su Jie revealed a cruel smile, raised the heavenly creation giant axe, and, like Pangu opening the heavens, heavily cleaved forward. Crack! The vast sky above was sliced open, the thick earth beneath torn asunder. Elements like wind, fire, water, and earth surged and roiled from the void. Everything seemed to twist and reconstruct under this ultimate strength, turning into the purest of elements. The momentum of the axe light didn't stop. Now, who surrenders to whom? To have me bear the rod and plead guilty? Su Jie's mouth curled into a cruel smile, looking down on the insignificant Emperor Donghuang. In the presence of the azure-bodied Su Jie, Emperor Donghuang seemed like an ant. Emperor Donghuang looked at the towering Su Jie, surrounded by the Great Tao Law, 36,000 chaotic waterfalls, and forced a stiff smile. Wait, I was just joking. Emperor Xingyuan, I discovered that you are particularly serious. The invitation. I'm here to invite you to join 9 Heavens Holy Land. Earlier, it was just a test of your strength. Our 9 Heavens Holy Land wishes to reconcile over the past misunderstandings. Ah! Hearing this, Su Jie laughed wildly, his laughter resonating across the Tao River, making Emperor Donghuang's face turn blue and white, like a dye vat, his dignity severely crushed. As a hollow great emperor, it had been many years since he'd been humiliated in this way. But Su Jie's power truly terrified him. The 10,000 Peaks Bull's Law manifestation was destroyed, and even the Tao Treasure 6 trigrams and 8 diagrams plate could be pierced. He had lost his last reliance. As for directly combating with cultivation, he was not an opponent either. He still remembered the scene where Su Jie broke his arm with a punch and sent him flying. He had no idea how Su Jie cultivated his physical body. In the face of Su Jie's domineering force, lowering his head now did not count as defeat. Su Jie laughed for a full half-minute before stopping, mockingly saying, "Is this the arrogance of 9 Heavens Holy Land? Truly laughable. You 9 Heavens Holy Land, come to my great Xia dynasty. Come and go as you please. Who do you think I am? Today, I'll take your life, for 9 Heavens Holy Land to understand that this ancient continent is the territory of Emperor Xingyuan, a forbidden zone for all your holy lands. Remember that." Su Jie followed his words with actions, raising the divine axe again, striking at Emperor Donghuang. Emperor Donghuang's face turned to despair. He was fundamentally unable to stop Su Jie and could only evade with all his strength. The 6 trigrams 8 diagrams disc in his hand flashed with a clear brilliance. Ka! Su Jie's charged strike cleft a boundless chasm in the Tao River. The chaotic qi even dissolved. It took several seconds for the stagnant chaotic qi to close the gap Su Jie had slashed. Looking at Emperor Donghuang again, at that moment, he was already split in two by Su Jie, his body pulverized to dust. Yet Su Jie did not relax, his gaze fixed on a part of the void. There, vaguely, a semi-transparent figure was rapidly escaping. It was Emperor Donghuang's illusory, shattered divine soul. At the last moment, he abandoned his physical body, using the power of the 6 trigrams 8 diagrams disc to deliberately break apart his divine soul, leaving only a soul retaining major consciousness and memories, escaping into the Tao River. Still want to escape? Su Jie sneered. Emperor Donghuang truly was willing to give up so much, even if surviving meant losing all his cultivation. Su Jie, we have no grievances. If I fall here, 9 heavens holy land will not let it rest. Seeing Su Jie relentless, chasing in his direction, Emperor Donghuang's face turned extremely ferocious. No grievances? From the moment you interrupted my wedding night, you lost the chance to survive. Su Jie lifted the divine axe, the axe formed by gravity and fusion spiritual power about to sweep down again. Emperor Donghuang's face drastically changed, filled with terror. He immediately exerted the remaining force of his remnant. The self-destructed Tao treasure stirred the chaotic qi flow, causing time and space to become disordered, thus escaping back into reality. If he had known Su Jie was such a ruthless person, he surely wouldn't have come alone to provoke him. Su Jie wasn't just at the cave void realm, but an absolute powerhouse of that realm. Emperor Donghuang didn't know how Su Jie cultivated to possess such battle strength at such a young age. Even with the Kunlun mirror, it was too absurd. Even former possessors like Emperor Tianwu hadn't had such an exaggerated growth trajectory as Su Jie. With a swish, Emperor Donghuang appeared in the Tianyuan world, but by that time he was no longer on the ancient continent. This is Shuyuan continent. Emperor Donghuang's eyes filled with delight. The Shuyuan continent belonged to the Heavenly Derivation Holy Land's nursery, and his 9 heavens Holy Land had a decent relationship with them. Although they competed compared to the other 3, they could barely be considered allies. Moreover, the Hollow Great Emperor of the Shuyuan continent, known as Emperor Guangshuan, happened to be someone with whom he shared some acquaintanceship. In his thoughts, Emperor Donghuang could sense a terrifying aura approaching through the Tao River. As a Hollow Great Emperor himself, he certainly knew what was happening. Su Jie was using the Tao River's time-space properties to navigate, not giving up the chase. Exploiting the Tao River's time-space properties, it wouldn't take long for Su Jie to find him, and by then, he would have no chance of survival. Thus, without a second thought, desperate for survival, Emperor Donghuang rushed with all his might. Having lived for tens of thousands of years, the longer he lived, the more he dreaded the arrival of death. Thus, he would even sacrifice the 6 trigrams and 8 diagrams disc to save his life. Now, seeing a new hope for survival, he naturally sprinted with all his strength. On Shuyuan continent, many commoners and cultivators witnessed a meteor-like glow streaking across the sky, dragging a long tail of divine soul flames, heading straight for the central imperial city. Shuyuan continent, Guangshuan Country Central Imperial City. Guangshuan Country is the largest country on Shuyuan continent, deeply influenced by the rule of Heavenly Derivation Holy Land. Everywhere one could see the marks of reverence for Heavenly Derivation Holy Land. At this moment, within the imperial city, Emperor Guangshuan suddenly sensed something, abruptly awakening from sleep. His eyes, shining brightly in the darkness, gazed towards the south. Who is it? Emperor Guangshuan soared into the sky, his gaze directed at the end of the sky dome, sensing a familiar yet foreign aura. Guangshuanzi, save me. The next moment, an alarmed voice echoed, and a streak of light descended. Upon seeing this streak of light, Emperor Guangshuan was struck with bewilderment. Surprisingly, it was Emperor Donghuang of the 9 heavens Holy Land. Donghuang, how did you get into such a state? Emperor Guangshuan was somewhat stunned. If not for his familiarity with the somewhat still recognizable Emperor Donghuang, he wouldn't have believed that the person before him was the once high and mighty Hollow Great Emperor. It's Su Jie, quickly. Take me away from here, he's almost here. Emperor Donghuang's voice trembled, urging hastily, fear of Su Jie embedded deep in his bones. Su Jie. Who is that? Immediately, 8 enormous mountainous arms stretched out, forcing open the passage to the mortal world. An immense and terrifying entity, with eyes like twin stars, gazed through the rift, peering down at the bustling human realm below. Accompanying this was a tremendous imperial presence that suppressed heaven and earth and swept across the sky, awakening countless citizens and cultivators in the imperial city, making them tremble in fear like small animals facing a natural disaster. Upon seeing the terrifying giant tearing through the sky dome, Emperor Guangxuan's face changed slightly. He immediately understood why Emperor Donghuang had ended up in such a miserable state, most likely due to the good deeds of the fellow in front of him. "I've found you." Su Jie stepped out from the Tao River, his moon Shura dissolving, revealing his original innate divine body. "I am Emperor Guangxuan. Who are you? What brings you to my Shuyan continent?" Emperor Guangxuan bowed slightly, secretly on guard, considering Su Jie's appearance combined with Emperor Donghuang's situation clearly indicated ill intentions. "I am here to kill someone. If you're sensible, stay out of the way." Su Jie fixed his gaze on Emperor Donghuang behind Emperor Guangxuan, revealing a cruel smile. He dared to disturb him on the wedding night. Today Su Jie must kill this old dog. Emperor Donghuang's remaining soul trembled, his eyes filled with terror and fear, saying anxiously, "Guangxuanzi, this fellow is the newly appointed Emperor Dongshu of the ancient continent, Emperor Xingyuan Su Jie. I went to the ancient continent kindly to recruit, but he turned against me, resorting to deadly force." Emperor Guangxuan pondered secretly but remained expressionless. "So you are Emperor Xingyuan. Nice to meet you. I am Emperor Guangyuan from the heavenly origin sacred land, now ruling the Shuyuan continent. Fate brings us together. As the saying goes, enemies should reconcile rather than create enmity. Why not give me some face and voluntarily resolve the grievances? Being from the heavenly derivation Holy Land, our two sacred lands are closely related, plus he holds a good relationship with Emperor Donghuang, so naturally he cannot just watch Su Jie kill Emperor Donghuang in front of him. Otherwise, if the news spreads, people would think he feared Su Jie, and a great emperor cannot lose face." "Your face? What are you? If you obstruct me, I will kill you too." Su Jie didn't stop walking, stepping towards Emperor Donghuang, completely ignoring Emperor Guangxuan. Su Jie's repeated actions and his rude words gradually fueled Guangxuanzi's anger. As Emperor Dongshu for many years, no one dared to insult or look down upon him like this. Even if Su Jie is Emperor Dongshu, so what? They are all great emperors. Who is stronger than whom? How dare he be so arrogant and domineering? Emperor Guangxuan's face immediately darkened, warning, "Emperor Xingyuan, this is the Shuyan continent, my territory. Coming here making trouble, you are not putting me or the heavenly derivation Holy Land in your eyes. Back down now, and I can pretend none of this happened otherwise." Before he finished speaking, Su Jie suddenly attacked. "Not making way? Then you'll join him in death." Su Jie's voice was icy. He punched towards Emperor Guangxuan, seeing clearly that the latter intended to protect Emperor Donghuang. No need for words. Even if he belonged to the heavenly derivation Holy Land, Su Jie already made enemies with the Nine Heavens Holy Land. What difference would it make? "You!" Emperor Guangxuan didn't expect Su Jie to act so quickly, completely disregarding his identity. Fortunately, he was prepared, suddenly holding an exquisite long sword, seemingly forged from purple celestial crystal. This was his Tao treasure, the heaven-burning red star sword. Upon swinging it, the sky ignited with crimson fire, burning half the celestial dome. The ground erupted with lava columns. Clang! Su Jie's fist collided with the heaven-burning red star sword. A massive force clashed, and a terrifying shockwave swept outward. Buzz, buzz! The heaven-burning red star sword in Emperor Guangxuan's hand buzzed and trembled. The sword's cries filled with a mournful sound, seemingly unable to withstand this power. Step, step, step. Emperor Guangxuan couldn't help but retreat, his heart filled with alarm. Even with the Tao treasure, the heaven-burning red star sword, He completely fell to the disadvantage in physical combat against Su Jie. Your treasure is not bad. Su Jie glanced at the split blood mark on his fist. Although possessing the neutron combat body, it hadn't reached great success, and the magic artifact could still wound him. This left Su Jie somewhat regretful. If he could refine Blue Star, further strengthening his power, perfecting the neutron combat body, ordinary Dao treasures might no longer be a threat. Unknowingly, Su Jie's body had already shocked Emperor Guangxuan immensely. Using a physical fist against a Dao treasure, even an Emperor Dongshu couldn't achieve this. Su Jie's actions slightly exceeded his understanding. The next moment, in front of Emperor Guangxuan, Su Jie smiled. But soon, your treasure will be mine. Su Jie thought the heaven-burning red star sword was decent. Once Han Rian ascended as the Yin Ruins Ghost King, it would be perfect for her amusement. Bold! Emperor Guangxuan's face filled with anger. Seeing Su Jie coveting his Dao treasure heaven-burning red star sword, his rage erupted. His figure moved like lightning, and behind him appeared a vast lake, transforming into a grotto heaven combined with the heaven-burning red star sword, mixing water and fire forces, making the void tremble. As Emperor Guangxuan slashed, a massive water and fire qilin leaped from the sword, opening its bloody mouth, savagely biting towards Su Jie. Su Jie remained unfazed, relying on the indestructible neutron combat body, exchanging a few blows with it. The heaven-burning red star sword in Emperor Guangxuan's hand shone long into the sky, possessing power reminiscent of heaven burning and sea boiling, turning everything it touched into lava and fire. Su Jie relied on the unrivaled battle body. Each punch and kick held world-ending power. Though just a few clashes, the encounter between the two great emperors was too impactful in the mortal realm. The earth cracked like a spider web into enormous chasms, mountains flattened, and lakes evaporated. The people living in Guangxuan country at this moment are like experiencing a catastrophic disaster. Emperor Guangxuan fought more fiercely as he got angrier, merging with his sword, transforming into a majestic divine sword reaching the heavens and earth, with sword chi piercing through the cloud sea above, standing in the multiverse, visible clearly even from thousands of kilometers away. This is Emperor Guangxuan's strongest move, surpassing even Emperor Donghuang in attack power. Sword cultivators are hailed as the most formidable attackers among cultivators in Tianyuan world, and Emperor Guangxuan is a sword cultivator. With the Dao treasure-burning heaven red star sword he has refined, in terms of offense, there are very few Emperor Dongshu cultivators who can surpass him. Take this! Emperor Guangxuan shouted, and the majestic divine sword pierced the earth. Boom! As the sword struck down, a canyon stretching endlessly appeared on the ground, tens of kilometers deep. Nearby mountains melted into scorching lava. Underground river water burst forth, colliding with the boiling lava to form a massive amount of steam, obscuring the battlefield. Seeing Su Jie gone and unable to sense Su Jie's aura, Emperor Guangxuan relaxed, a faint smile curling at the corner of his mouth. Ignorant brat. This is the consequence of not knowing your limits. He considered his supreme skill matchless in attack. Be careful. However, Emperor Donghuang quickly reminded him, aware of Su Jie's dreadfulness. If Su Jie could be resolved so easily, he wouldn't have ended up on this battlefield. Almost at the moment Emperor Donghuang spoke, Su Jie suddenly appeared in front of Emperor Guangxuan. Emperor Guangxuan discovered that his burning heaven red star sword was being pulled by a tremendous force, as if some invisible gravity was pulling it. Before he could react, a figure rushed over, and Su Jie slapped a palm towards his head, striking a pitch-black hollow in the void. If Su Jie landed this palm, his head would explode. Su Jie's speed was truly too fast. Emperor Guangxuan was startled, having witnessed Su Jie's divine body's might earlier. He dared not collide head-on with Su Jie, hurriedly fleeing into the void. At the critical moment, a bizarre force grasped again, causing the burning heaven red star sword in Emperor Guangxuan's hand to suddenly halt. Seeing Su Jie tightly gripping the sword edge, about to forcefully seize the burning heaven red star sword. Damn it! Let go. Emperor Guangxuan just prepared to snatch it back when Su Jie's eyes flashed coldly, A foot flew up, hitting his chest. An unstoppable force swept over. His chest caved in extensively, the force slackened, and the burning heaven-red star sword in his hand was forcibly seized by Su Jie. The forcibly taken burning heaven-red star sword struggled vigorously, trying to escape Su Jie's grasp and return to Emperor Guangxuan's hand, but was firmly suppressed by Su Jie. And looking at Emperor Guangxuan, his whole being slammed heavily into the mountains near the imperial city, crashing who knows how many mountain peaks along the way. When he stood up, blood stained his entire body, ribs broken, internal organs ruptured. Seeing the utterly defeated Emperor Guangxuan, the cultivators in the imperial capital watching the battle were dumbfounded. Their undefeated, solar-like supreme Emperor Guangxuan was actually kicked away by someone, even having his weapon taken. Emperor Guangxuan's eyes were wide with rage. Losing the burning heaven-red star sword was an intolerable blow to him. Crafting a sword Dao treasure is extremely difficult, even for an Emperor Dongshu. Su Jie, however, ignored Emperor Guangxuan and directly approached Emperor Donghuang. Emperor Donghuang had only a remnant of his soul left. His Dao treasure 6 trigrams and 8 diagrams disc damaged. All his trump cards gone. He couldn't stop Su Jie at all. Spare me. I represent the 9 heavens holy land. Emperor Donghuang hadn't expected Emperor Guangxuan to be so ineffective. Resolved by Su Jie in just a few punches and kicks. Now his face filled with despair. There's a seat reserved for an Emperor Dongshu soul in my soul summoning banner. Just right to put you in. Su Jie coldly laughed, taking out the soul summoning banner, grabbing Emperor Donghuang's fragmented soul with his right hand, amidst wails, and thrust it into the soul summoning banner. Witnessing this, Emperor Guangxuan shivered inwardly. Su Jie, this devil, dared to disgrace an Emperor Dongshu by capturing his soul into the soul summoning banner. But as Emperor Guangxuan was still fuming for Emperor Donghuang, he inadvertently locked eyes with Su Jie, and seeing Su Jie's icy eyes, an ominous feeling welled up in his heart. Because after eliminating Emperor Donghuang, Su Jie hadn't left. Instead, he once again approached him. Emperor Guangxuan's face changed drastically. At his peak, he wasn't a match for Su Jie, let alone now in a state of severe injury from Su Jie's kick. What do you want? I'm a member of the Heavenly Derivation Holy Land, and this place isn't far from my Holy Land's mountain gate. Emperor Guangxuan continuously backed away, his voice fierce yet timid. Then I'll tolerate you even less, to eliminate future troubles. Su Jie's expression didn't change a bit, already antagonizing the Heavenly Derivation Holy Land and robbing a Dao treasure. The relationship couldn't be reconciled. Leaving Emperor Guangxuan alive would eventually make him an adversary. However, in mid-retreat, Guangxuanzi suddenly stopped, seemingly sensing something. All his terror vanished, replaced by ecstatic joy. Emperor Huanglong, Emperor of 10,000 Spirits, Emperor Qingming, I'm here, come quickly. Emperor Guangxuan's voice spread everywhere. Su Jie lifted his head. In the distance 3 majestic and overwhelming auras approached swiftly. Before even nearing, the empire-crushing aura was already spreading, undoubtedly belonging to 3 Emperor Dongshu. Su Jie knew the Heavenly Derivation Holy Land's mountain gate wasn't far from the Shuyuan continent. They must be people from Heavenly Derivation Holy Land. Whoosh! 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 3 figures like blazing suns descended over the battlefield. They were 2 men and 1 woman. What happened here? Who are you? The leading emperor, his gaze as stern as a prison, stared at Su Jie, the uninvited guest. He was Emperor Huanglong of Heavenly Derivation Holy Land. Earlier, Su Jie and Emperor Guangxuan's clash was too conspicuous, plus Heavenly Derivation Holy Land excelled at deduction technique. So after detecting something amiss, the 3 Emperor Dongshu urgently ended their meditation retreat, sped over from their cave to the Shuyuan continent. Only with Emperor Dongshu's speed could they bridge such a vast distance in such a short time and appear in time. Guangxuan, was your injury caused by him? The cold-tempered woman, the Emperor of 10,000 Spirits from Heavenly Derivation Holy Land, saw Emperor Guangxuan's downcast appearance and questioned. Does it even need asking? He's holding the burning heaven red star sword. It's obvious he did it. Emperor Qingming snorted coldly, speaking bluntly. Su Jie holding the forcibly taken Burning Heaven Red Star Sword was the clearest evidence. You finally came. He's the newly ascended Emperor Dongshu of the ancient continent. He just killed Emperor Donghuang of Nine Heavens' Holy Land. Emperor Guangshuan, seeing them as saviors, flashed beside the three Emperor Dongshu, explaining the situation on site precisely. Understanding the root cause of the events, the three Emperor Dongshu looked at Su Jie, their gaze full of murderous intent, surrounding him. Hand over the Burning Heaven Red Star Sword with both hands, and I'll leave you with a whole corpse. Emperor Huanglong demanded coldly. Su Jie killed Emperor Donghuang, which was one thing, but actively provoking their heavenly derivation Holy Land, snatching Emperor Guangshuan's Dao treasure, showed total disregard and disrespect towards their Holy Land. Such audacity. Three Emperor Dongshu think they have me cornered. Su Jie's expression remained calm throughout, facing the encircling three Emperor Dongshu and the hateful Emperor Guangshuan. Such a force composed of four Emperor Dongshu could practically suppress any enemy. Su Jie stepped forward aggressively, his gaze fierce, throwing a punch towards Emperor Huanglong. One kill is a kill, for kills are the same. Since you've come, you'll all stay. Emperor Huanglong was utterly shocked. Even though they had surrounded Su Jie, it somehow seemed as if Su Jie was the one with overwhelming numbers, daringly taking the initiative. How audacious! The next moment, Emperor Huanglong wielded a black-gold long spear, its shaft entwined with two azure dragons. This was his Dao treasure, the double dragon sun-swallowing spear, which he thrust towards Su Jie in a counterattack. Bang! As they clashed, black fissures spread across the sky dome, and the mountains and rivers below crumbled. With just one strike, the double dragon sun-swallowing spear in Emperor Huanglong's hand trembled slightly, the shaft bending, as the two azure dragons coiled upon it snapped towards Su Jie. The double dragon sun-swallowing spear in Emperor Huanglong's hand was forged from the corpse of a chaotic creature, with the divine soul of the chaotic creature infused within, refining it into the artifact soul of the Dao treasure. A strike from the spear sent the chaotic creature's divine soul raging, turning rivers and seas, its power immense. Get lost! Su Jie's gaze was cold, as the sun fusion divine scripture transformed into a furnace, billowing spiritual power into boiling smoke of blood, and the two azure dragons let out a mournful cry as they approached, suppressed by this imposing aura. Even an artifact spirit refined from the divine soul of a chaotic creature couldn't be fiercely rampant before Su Jie, for Su Jie was even more violent than the chaotic creatures. In an instant, Su Jie struck with a few more punches, and even though Emperor Huanglong relied on the double dragon sun-swallowing spear for defense, Su Jie's neutron combat body's extreme strength caused his blood and energy to surge, muscles tearing, his skin soaking in blood droplets, finding it difficult to continue. Quick! Attack together. This guy isn't easy to deal with. Don't get complacent. You madman, don't be arrogant. Though Emperor of 10,000 Spirits was a woman, none who became a great emperor were simple, as she charged forward, unconcerned about the possibility of losing her reputation for outnumbering her opponent. Before approaching, she took out a jade bell, shaking it gently. The bell emitted a crisp sound of true Tao, resembling the cry of the phoenix and the ethereal sounds of immortal sound, seeming like a celestial maiden's song from the 9 heavens. This Dao treasure of Emperor of 10,000 Spirits was called the Phoenix Bell, different from ordinary Dao treasure. It specialized in attacking one's spirit and soul, capable of destroying the divine soul and seizing the 3 souls and 7 spirits, more sinister and ruthless than ordinary Dao treasure, rendering defense almost impossible. Su Jie suddenly looked at Emperor of 10,000 Spirits, meeting her coldly smiling face. D. A golden light appeared synchronously, as Emperor Qingming wielded a battle bow, shooting 7 arrows. These 7 arrow feathers transformed into a roaring white tiger, a true dragon, a fire phoenix, and a qilin, shaking the heavens and earth, as if the ancient era had returned, with a great power shooting the sun, each arrow capable of easily piercing and shattering great mountains. This was Emperor Qingming's Dao treasure, the 7 kills demon suppressing bow, renowned for 7 arrows sealing heaven and suppressing demons, able to unleash the power of holy beasts and shooting stars. Emperor Qingming and Emperor of 10,000 Spirits coordinated seamlessly, as the phoenix bell sounded, shaking the enemy's divine soul, and Emperor Qingming's killing move of an arrow storm arrived before Su Jie. It's no exaggeration to say that most emperors Dongshu would struggle against this united attack, with their divine soul in bewilderment, instantly pierced by the 7 kills demon-suppressing bow. Su Jie, having repelled Emperor Huanglong with a punch, remained calm and unhurried as the arrow storm approached. The gravity of his neutron combat body suddenly erupted with full force, causing the incoming arrow storm to deflect, skimming past him, blasting a bottomless pit in the distant ground. "Don't give him a chance to breathe," Emperor Guangxuan shouted angrily, joining forces with Emperor Huanglong to attack Su Jie from left and right. Recognizing Su Jie's difficulty, the several great emperors no longer dared to underestimate him, wishing to remove Su Jie swiftly. Always relying on Dao treasures. Su Jie shook his head, preferred the feeling of fist to flesh. "You're taunting because you lack Dao treasures, newly ascended into Hollow, running here to find your death." Emperor Guangxuan slapped his palm. The lake cave heaven behind him transformed into an ocean, rolling waves pressing towards Su Jie. With his Dao treasure heaven-burning red star sword seized, he bore deep hatred towards Su Jie, wishing to end him immediately, retrieve the heaven-burning red star sword. "Hee. You call these Dao treasures? What do you call this?" Su Jie laughed aloud, his laughter yet to cease as the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree appeared behind him. Crack, crack, crack. Void cracked open. A divine with towering millions of meters high stood in the void, its canopy enveloping the sky dome, billions of chaotic chi flow falling like waterfalls, its thick trunk like a pillar holding up the heavens, larger than mountain ranges. Its roots like jiao longs of the deep seas, menacingly twisting, rooted in the void, absorbing the chaos nutrients of Tao River. Upon showing itself, the divine, eternal, and boundless aura spread forth, changing the sky and clouds, the sight as though the whole world is shrouded in the tree's shadow. Emperor Guangxuan, Emperor Huanglong, Emperor of 10,000 Spirits, and Emperor Qingming all turned pale, eyes filled with shock as they beheld the tree looming like it's about to open the heavens and support the world, sensing a deadly threat. As if no one else possesses Dao treasures, Su Jie stood at the pinnacle of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, looking down upon the 4 great emperors, without hesitation wielding the branches, billions of innate divine thunder rushing forth towards Emperor Guangxuan, cloaking the heavens in blinding light. Blisteringly wild energy even from afar crushed the mountains and rivers below. 2. Top-level Dao treasure. How is it possible for you to have such a level of treasure? Emperor Guangxuan trembled all over, his eyes filled with disbelief. It was already incredible that Su Jie possessed a Dao treasure, let alone a top-level Dao treasure. You must know, the 10,000 dragon pearl left behind by the deceased Emperor Tianwu already made the cave void practitioners of the 9 heavens Holy Land hesitant to enter the ancient continent lightly. The power of a top-level Dao treasure can only be imagined. The crafting of such a level of Dao treasure is extremely difficult, not only requiring all kinds of rare materials but also an enormous amount of heavenly Dao fortune. Even ordinary Emperor Dongshu's heavenly Dao fortune is not enough, so how can they refine a top-level Dao treasure? Facing the attack of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree, Emperor Guangxuan was scared out of his wits, hastily controlling the lake cave heaven to resist. However, the lake cave heaven he refined could not withstand the power of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree at all. Lightning ravaged wildly, and his lake cave heaven was quickly broken, with the lake water evaporating into mist. Stop him! Emperor Huanglong grew somewhat anxious, wielding the double dragon sun swallowing spear to thrust continuously forward, trying to intercept the countless innate divine thunder, but it was like trying to put out a fire with a cup of water. Because the innate divine thunder was still evolving, each bolt of divine thunder continued to transform, some into purple cloud divine thunder, others into Binghua divine thunder, some into sunflower water divine thunder, others into Tai divine thunder, and others into Taishao heavenly thunder, The primordial divine thunder tree is a fortune treasure refined by combining 3 innate spiritual plants with both human Tao fortune and heavenly Tao fortune, categorized under top-level Tao treasures, capable of easily evolving innate divine thunder into various attacks. After Emperor Huanglong approached, not only did he fail to stop the mixed-element holy thunder tree, but he was also struck by several bolts of lightning, his entire body emitting blue smoke, his face like blackened charcoal. Emperor of 10,000 Spirits urged the Phoenix Bell, the sound continuously pouring into Su Jie's brain, while Emperor Qingming rained arrows down, strumming the 7 kills demon sealing bow, attempting to use this besiege way to rescue Zhao's strategy to make Su Jie stop attacking Emperor Guangshuan. But all of this was in vain. The mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree was not only formidable in attack but also exceptional in defense, having fused with the defensive innate spiritual object, the 9-grade Sacred Lotus, making its defense unlikely to be weak. Golden lotuses floated down from the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, its dense branches and leaves continuously growing, forming a canopy shield around Su Jie, firmly blocking the rain of arrows shot by Emperor Qingming. Though it seemed slow, it was actually fast. Emperor Guangshuan had no Tao treasure and was already injured, making him the weakest in strength present. Once targeted by the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, his end quickly approached. Countless evolved divine thunders struck this hollow emperor with a thunderous crash. At his center, a 1,000-mile radius turned into a spectacular sea of thunder, with millions of divine thunders surging and winding within. Emperor Guangshuan, in the midst, was like an ordinary person falling into the 10,000 snake cave, subjected to endless snake bites, but this pain was even more intense. High-voltage electric shock is already pain beyond human endurance. Even more so is this billions of innate divine thunder. The painful wails and lamentations of Emperor Guangshuan were relentless, the sound heartbreaking to hear, tear-inducing to behold. His entire skin and flesh were charred layer by the electric currents, every cell annihilated under the divine thunder. Escape was impossible. He could only watch helplessly as his body turned to charcoal bit by bit. His skin, hair, bones, internal organs, brain, and even his divine soul could not escape the sanction of the divine thunder. In just a dozen or so breaths, Emperor Guangshuan was completely reduced to ash, leaving only a broken soul collected by Su Jie. Emperors Huanglong, Emperor of 10,000 Spirits, and Emperor Qingming, who witnessed the scene throughout, felt their scalps tingle as they simultaneously gulped nervously. Speaking of what natural disaster cultivators in the Tianyuan world fear the most, it is none other than the lightning tribulation. A cultivator's life is almost always accompanied by lightning tribulations, having suffered countless bitter experiences. They have also witnessed numerous fellow cultivators failing under the lightning tribulation, becoming a charred corpse. But now, the innate divine thunder unleashed by the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree, in both power and quantity, far surpasses any so-called lightning tribulation. Even an Emperor Dongshu would be frightened out of their wits upon seeing it. The first one, Su Jie's eyes brimmed with battle enthusiasm as he looked towards the other 3. As Su Jie's gaze shifted, the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree beneath him unfolded as well. Countless innate divine thunders roared throughout the heavens and earth, penetrating and tearing the void. Chaotic chi flowed rampantly, and countless creatures on the Shuan continent were alerted, gazing at the towering ascent to the sky dome, which blotted out the sky and the sun. The chaotic chi flowed like a waterfall, and the branches and leaves emitted divine thunder, making it feel as if the world was on the verge of destruction, plunging into uncontrollable despair and fear. Even witnessing it was so, let alone facing the mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree directly. The 3 hollow emperors were now panicked. The death of Emperor Guangshuan made them less resolute in the battle. Earlier, the 4 could not take down Su Jie, and now Su Jie had the top-level Tao treasure mixed-element Holy Thunder Tree. They had lost a comrade, which further widened the gap in their combat power. Yet, even at this moment they still wanted to save face. Fleeing directly would not fit the status of a hollow emperor, making it too much of a disgrace. But this very behavior completely severed their path of retreat. Su Jie's first target was Emperor Qingming. This guy had been shooting arrows at him. Su Jie remembered it all. This is bad news. Emperor Qingming's face turned iron blue, fully drawing his bow and nocking an arrow. However, the power of his Dao treasure, the 7 kills demon sealing bow, could not compare with the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree at all. His tactics could not stop the approach of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree. Kill! Emperor Huanglong gritted his teeth and charged fiercely towards Su Jie. The double dragon sun swallowing spear thrusting at Su Jie's heart. Su Jie did not even glance. The countless roots of the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree beneath his feet surged like the wave-turning Jiao Long, densely covering the sky, striking and entangling Emperor Huanglong, rendering him flustered and unable to approach Su Jie's true body. At this moment, a peculiar sound wave poured into Su Jie's mind again. It was Emperor of 10,000 Spirits who fiercely spat a mouthful of heart blood onto the phoenix bell, its sound intensity several times stronger than before. If it were any ordinary Emperor Dongshu, they would be at least disoriented if not faint. I've tolerated you long enough, woman. Yet, Su Jie suddenly turned to stare at Emperor of 10,000 Spirits, his gaze icy cold. In the sea of consciousness where Su Jie's soul resided, the Dharma chaos emerged from the top of the skull, its vortex monocle seeming like a black hole, choosing to devour everything, even light twisted. This was the black hole all things technique created by Su Jie, specialized in the divine soul domain. When Emperor of 10,000 Spirits' spiritual power, accompanied by the bell sound, attacked, it was instantly distorted and devoured completely by the black hole all things technique, the intense backlash causing her 7 orifices to spurt blood, her face turning pale as paper, her consciousness plunged into a daze. In a confrontation among the strong, every millisecond was the distance between life and death. As she just regained awareness, Su Jie was already in front of her, his fist striking her head. No! Emperor of 10,000 Spirits cried out in terror, only managing a scream, and the next moment, her beautiful face was entirely distorted, and then her whole head exploded by Su Jie's punch. On the other side, Emperor Qingming was covered by innate divine thunder all over his body. Even with the 7 kills demon sealing bow, he was severely injured. Su Jie did not spare him either. The Sun Fusion divine scripture within the neutron combat body underwent fission. As Su Jie punched out, a mushroom cloud over 100 kilometers rose gracefully. Emperor Qingming's physical body directly disintegrated, leaving only a 1% tall Dao treasure 7 kills demon sealing bow falling in the void. Emperor Qingming was blasted into debris. Lastly, Emperor Huanglong was already entangled by thousands upon thousands of Jiaolong roots from the mixed element Holy Thunder Tree. The roots of the Zonglong tree continuously exerting force and pulling, accompanied by the sound of muscle tearing and bones breaking. His entire person was instantly torn apart limb from limb, his body shattered. The heavenly derivation Holy Land won't let you off. Emperor Huanglong's remaining head retained consciousness, staring at Su Jie at this time, knowing his own end, his gaze filled with regret and unwillingness. If he had known Su Jie was this formidable, they would have chosen to flee earlier. Perhaps 1 or 2 might have survived. No, he shouldn't have come here at all, just sent his life away for nothing. Too bad you won't see it. Su Jie flew across, stamping down, crushing the head, completely sending Emperor Huanglong's consciousness into eternal darkness. Thus, Su Jie had annihilated all 4 Emperor Dongshu who besieged him. Once Emperor Tianwu had created an astonishing record of 1 against 3, now Su Jie took it further, a traceable record of 1 against 4. When the battle concluded, this result was likewise witnessed by the cultivators of the Shuan continent. The commotion between great emperors was so significant, it couldn't be concealed. Countless people watched this scene, shocked, feeling utterly dumbfounded. So many emperors fell in succession, all done by one person. What kind of devil was this, so terrifyingly ruthless? As Su Jie cleared the battlefield, collected the spoils, retrieved those great Emperor Dao treasures, took in the Emperor's souls into the soul-summoning banner, secured the Emperor's storage bags, he contentedly torn the Tao River, heading back to the ancient continent. And the news of the successive fall of 5 Emperor Dongshu spread like a tsunami from the Shuan continent to all directions, shocking the entire Tianyuan world, the 7 continents, including Heavenly Derivation Holy Land, 9 Heavens Holy Land, Yang Palace Holy Land, 10,000 Tribulations Holy Land, Divine Mechanism Holy Land, were all thunderstruck by the name of Emperor Xingyun Sujie, truly renowned across the world, fierce prestige unparalleled.